All right, thank you very much, people. We're back again. There's a new broadcast. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to every one of you. So I'll just this opportunity to give my people 1 hour minimum and maximum 2 hours. Make una take talk for the matter. Be like say the Russian and just now. I even notice it, but I don't know say Oga CM go come that late night. But I want us to talk on this though, since we don't talk on so many other things since. So let me bring this on. Let me read it again so that people can see what is happening. Who is playing something? Okay, I don't mute you. Thank you. All right. The statement from Tinubu, now they talk just now. According to him, any court orders issued to truncate democracy won't be tolerated. According to the President Bola Tinubu, court orders that stifle Nigeria's democracy won't be tolerated any longer. That's strong. That's a strong word. I want us to talk on this. So I would like us to start with Oga CM. So everybody, don't worry, you guys have enough time, but you must work your time. If you allow only one person to talk for 30 minutes, now you can know. So, but I did here with you now. You let's manage the time so that we can finish on time. Thank you very much. Oga CM, good evening to you, sir. Thanks for joining us. Talk to
Okay,
us.
good evening, everybody. Sorry about my voice, but I'm so I'm so engrossed that I have to say something. You see, this statement by Tinubu is nothing short of dictatorial. He's just telling us that he's going to be a dictator. Remember, in democracy, the arms of government are independent. The executive cannot tell the judiciary, cannot bully the judiciary. You don't do that. It is not for Tinubu to say any court order that will truncate. Who is he to know what will truncate democracy? It's the judiciary that will interpret. So for the judicial arm to give a resolution or to pass a, let me say, what do I say, just to give a resolution on a case before it, the executive has no right to say they are truncating democracy. No, we are not in a military regime. Now, can you imagine the case is still in court? People have not accepted his claim, his legitimacy. What if, but God forbid, it is the other way around? You now know that Nigeria is in for very turbulent times. So that alone gives me the impression that the man is not fit. Forget about calling somebody a Democrat. He's this what he has just said now, or probably he must have had an inkling that tomorrow's judgment, I think is tomorrow, may not favor him. Probably the journey for P2B to reclaim his mandate will be made manifest tomorrow. So probably he must have slept, wake up, I mean, obviously must have seen the evidence, followed the proceedings in court, followed that what I call the great confession, the confession between INEC and PDP. I mean the conversation or the exchange between INEC lawyer who is asking a PDP witness, why do you want INEC to declare Atiku winner when you know Atiku did not make 25% of the total vote cast in FCT? It's only 15. Thank God and the person, the witness, you know, sort of answered back by saying, after all, the person you announced, did the person make it? So Tinubu must have had this. You see, everything considered, even we, the voters know who they voted for. All this idea of going to court was just to put delay tactics. There is nothing that the judges will interpret. This is English language. This is evidence. On the basis of that 25%, Tinubu is not fit to be sworn in. It's only P2B. And from what I've seen, there are a lot of documented evidence to show that in most of the states, P2B won. It's just that They are using criminality to change it. So the beginning of the journey to a new Nigeria will start tomorrow when the tribunal must have declared the P2B winner. Or if they truncate it, then it then becomes a non-dimities to Nigeria. There is no point. I don't see any formula again that will work in which people will leave all they want to do. In fact, this is the most consequential election ever in the history of Nigeria, or since we started political voting. This is the most consequential because those in the diaspora took it upon themselves to mobilize people. Niger Watch, you took the lead. Here we were talking. I remember Madam Rita saying, "Let us tell our people, let us mobilize them, give them money to go and get their PVC." I remember when they campaign, we have to know Labour Party logo, print it, put it at the back of their mobile phone, keep looking at it. Even if you want to, the day you are voting, you must have seen it before you go in. So we did all we could. People went into the market. So the people were sufficiently mobilized, not only because you are telling them, but they are tired. So I don't see any reason why and the tribunal should not be good neighbors to Nigerians. If they fail this acid test, to be honest with you, I can never see Nigeria coming back. In 1960 to 1970, it was only one tribe that felt injustice and wanted to leave. Now, Ogoni, you don't know, they have their own flag. Ejo, the same thing. I know we won't come to this. Already there are Yoruba nations. And my people, Igbo, we are ready. Only that some of us will say, no, let us give Nigeria the last chance through P2B. And then let me now react to this issue of Wazobia. Yes, it is true. That is a misnomer. I know I'm part of the Wazobia. But what of those that are not? Am I more human? Am I a better human being than them? Or am I more Nigerian than them? That's why it is good for us. I've been saying before, if we have a constitution whereby no matter how small an ethnic group is, the same representation. If there are two Yoruba, two Igbo, there must be two of representing those ethnic group, no matter how small, so that everybody will bring out his or her mind and say what they want. We may debate it and come to a meet. We now converge to a point. The point we come to is means the constitution. When we settle this, to be honest with you, Nigeria will march forward. But if some people feel that the way they are lording it over the rest, it will continue. Power will go to Fulani, come down, they manipulate it, give Tinubu, put Shetima behind. If he fails Tinubu, power goes back. When will a Joe man, I mean not a Joe, when will the Chekiri man be president? When will Urobo be president? When will Ibibio be president? What of Ogoni? Are they not human beings? Egala, Idoma, Igede, are they not human? Are they not part of Nigeria? Jukun TV, Bachama, where are they? There are many of them. Birom, are they not human beings? Must we continue to rule the Birom for the next 100 years in the interest of one Nigeria? So please, this is Nigeria is at a critical point. It better allow P2B to get in so that the journey, not that P2B goes in, it becomes status quo, no. So that all these things we need, we will now come together and start to design the country we want, design the type of security arrangement we want as regard our defense, economy, in everything. We not come in. But if they feel that is this mago, Buhari will use Boko Haram to remove Jonathan, then do 8 years whether you like it or not. Then they use tell INEC don't switch off the server. It's because people they don't want people to be Igbo man to be president. Then they say Ashiwaju has won. If you don't like it, go to court. Then they manipulate. You see, everything has expiry date. This thing can work. This time, I bet you, Ibibio man cannot carry gun to shoot Igbo man because of Biafra. Edo man cannot say, let me go and fight a Yoruba to be part of Nigeria. It can't happen. Everybody will be going there. Oh, they may not know the coalition that we come together to talk of one Nigeria. So it is in the interest of those that feel, I keep saying this, to allow these people to be because that is the wish of the people. Nigerians are united. That's why they voted for P2B. Imagine P2B winning in Plateau State, up to 1 million votes, winning in Lagos, winning everywhere, in the major areas you didn't expect. It means people are united. They want a symbol to bring together, and they saw it in P2B. If they fail this, those people you think they are not human beings, look, nature abhors a vacuum. Le Chatelier's principle in chemistry said when a system is in equilibrium and one of those system factors responsible for the equilibrium is distorted, the entire system will adjust itself to neutralize that. So all these things they are doing, I'm having a sense of foreboding. But then let the tribunal, because I know they are going to deliver their judgment either tomorrow or next, and I'm not quite sure. Let them just pronounce Peter to be the true winner. Whether rerun, we are not interested. We are not rerunning anything. The evidence is clear. The evidence, all these things they are showing is clear. The real figures have come out. INEC cannot be dictating cannot be, reading out figures and then be uploading a different thing. So what one do we follow? All these things have shown that P2B won the election. I don't know why they are dilly-dallying. If they don't want Nigeria to be one, well, let them scatter Nigeria by their hand. But what I don't want is for somebody to come and moralize for me on the need for us to be together. I have tried for us to be together. I mobilized my people. I gave money. I invested like every other person. I'm not alone. And people came out, said this is what they want. Is P2B not part of Nigeria? It's not a Nigerian. Is if people that say it's Igbo, Igbo is not part of Nigerian. They brought Yoruba in 1999. Ndi Igbo voted. They brought Fulani following him. Ndi Igbo voted. They brought a German. Ndi Igbo voted. Atiku, again, Ndi Igbo voted. Now, if Igbo man vote for Igbo man, is he a lie? Is he bad? Must we continue like this? If Igbo man cannot be president, what is the chance that Urobo can be president? What is the chance that Igede can be president in future? What is the chance that Ogoniman will one day, everybody will nominate Ogoniman and all of us will come behind him? Is it possible? So please, this game, Nigerians are too civilized. We've been all over the world. We are champions. We are talented. There is nothing. Nigeria has the manpower that can satisfy the whole of Africa. I can say that. We have intelligent people. Somebody in Anambra State converted a gas cylinder to be powering generator, which is it is a gas cylinder of about no medium size. For 2 days, it hasn't finished, and the generator is on, giving light, which means it is better than petrol. That is intelligence. Somebody put something in a stream and is giving him light near his house. In Anambra, I've seen it. I don't know why. Say the thing is just like hydro. So there are a lot we can do. But all these things, when people keep making Nigeria a, a giant with clay foot, it's not gone. The class of 66 should give way. The civil war has ended. Buhari, all of them, they've done their bit from civilian to military. They've ended. Let them not stop confusing the youths. Let the people born, because the youths now since 1999, they should be 20 years or 21. They are tired. They've not seen military rule. So nobody should come and truncate all this. Why I'm pleading this is that it's as if I know what will happen. I woke up to hear this. I didn't know that I wanted to be on the platform, but I slept early. Now I woke up. So what Nigeria should do is a plea and pleading. Let the tribunal give the right judgment. Allow P2B to exercise his mandate so that people will now start. The world is laughing at us. If they feel that they will do it and say, after all, Tinubu won in this thing, the law decide. The court, you can't go about the court. Well, they will say they won. But what of the agitation when people say they don't want to be part of Nigeria? Are you going to force me to be a Nigeria? You can't force me. You can't. This time the agitation will take different dimension because nobody will stop each other. Nobody will tell each other to stop. People will go their way. So the simple thing to do is to allow the P2B to again to get in. What did the man do? Why are they hunting him? Why all this witch hunt? Why all this gang up? Because of P2B is leading, they switched off the beavers. Why must you switch it off? Is it not wickedness? Because you see me entering the room, you switch off the light because you don't want me to come into the room. Then later you tell me that we are part of the same family. It's not going to work. I'm saying this because sometimes you have an inspiration on what to say. This is exactly the shape it will take. All gunpowder is now ready. People are just waiting. The moment this thing didn't go the way we want it, to your tent, to Israel, imagine the law they are making, are trying to bring out in Lagos. El-Rufai is making an inflammatory statement. Is that for unity? So if I now say I don't want to be part of Nigeria, can you blame me? El-Rufai is tearing Nigeria apart. The people in Lagos State are making a law that is counter to that of the constitution, the grand norm. What do you want us to do? If I have CFO in Lagos, you want to reverse it. For what? Are we not the same country? Are we not the same country? Did I steal it? Because you hate me. Now, if I say, let me go back and be a country of my own, you tell me, no, we don't want to tear Nigeria apart. Please, you can't have it both ways. It is either something must have to give. They better allow Obi. There's no need. They better allow Peter Obi to exercise his mandate. Thank God today is June 12th. This is what they did to Abiola 1993. This time, 30 years later, they still want to do the same thing. This time, they are meeting a different opposition, a different generation, because some of the people today did not witness 1993. So telling them that is ancient history. What they see today is what they are going to act on. The result is in most of the mobile phones we carry about. So it is in the interest of the tribunal to be good neighbors to Nigerians and do the right thing. Failing it, I can't guarantee what will happen, and everybody is at liberty to decide his future. By the way, men are born free. All men are born equal, and we have a right to decide what we have to be. That Lugard came. In fact, Niger Watch, I promise I will send you a letter to the editor. The British that joined this thing together, they expressed they were annoyed. One of the top permanent secretary, he said they regretted doing it. All they wanted was to see if they can sort of use Nigeria as a guinea pig. So it wasn't really to build a country. It just experiment. He said they are regretting it. Look at, they didn't see if the Yugoslavia had happened, they would have used this as an example. There was no Yugoslavia or Russia to guide them. They said they were doing it then. Can you imagine? Against our will, and somebody will be interpreting law for me. Please, this should not work. The fact that we agreed to vote for P2B everywhere in Nigeria is enough to prove to the people that Nigerians want to be together. So who want to put asunder there should be ready for the consequence. Thank you.
All right. Your speech, I've got seeing is touchy. I just hope by God's grace it doesn't come to that, because if I have to add to it, if you really have to look what Erufai said, till now nobody have done anything wrong. Nobody have done anything to him. It looks like some people can say anything and get away with it, while some can never. So I need a better Nigeria. That's what I'm standing for. I just pray the judiciary do the right thing. I just need a better Nigeria. We can't continue like this. It doesn't look working. But fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. I hope the judiciary do the right thing. You know, um, yeah, that statement. Court orders that stifle Nigeria's democracy won't be tolerated any longer. That's a strong word. I don't know. I don't. Maybe somebody else might have a different perspective over this statement. So let's take it around. Let's take it around. Um, okay, I think we should. The people that just come in now. Let me go with Chris. Uh, I'm no. I'll come to you, sir. Hold on. Let's go to Chris first. Okay, Chris, are you there with us?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, sir. Good evening to you once again. Um, yeah, please. What is your take on this topic? Because we're supposed to have ended this broadcast. To be honest. I believe this pulled out people again, and I just want to hear from you. Talk to us.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Najawaj. Good evening, everybody in the panel. And thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the extra stress to remain here so that we can all talk. It's a great sacrifice you are doing to your motherland. And for that, we remain grateful, eternally grateful to you.
Thank you,
And
sir.
also, everybody that has stayed late in the night or afternoon, wherever your time is. And thank you all for being here and contributing to this struggle. Well, before I start, I listened to the program from the beginning. I just want to say kudos to Alex and to Black Panther and give us our mandate is not here. I listened to the three of them earlier, you know. But above that, I want to say
He's
very
here. He's listening to
special.
you. He's on the screen. He's listening to you.
Okay, okay, and I want to say a very special kudos to Mr. Alaba. He is the newcomer to the panel because each time I listen to this set of people, before they make their submission, they just give us something they call like a literature review. You know, they just give you a background to whatever they want to say, and you just enjoy them. Kudos to you all, Mr. Laba. Kudos to you, and especially to Mr. Sien. Mr. Sien, are you a chemistry lecturer or something like that? Because I heard you mentioning the catalyst principle today. It just gives me a memory of my secondary school days, talking about dynamic equilibrium. So having said that, I just want to delve into the issue by trying to draw an analogy, and I agree to Niger. I'll just delve into the issue, trying to draw an analogy from what Two Niger said. And Two Niger, you see that boat you talked about, that when people are in a boat, that instead of that if you are in a boat, are you going to dig a hole in the boat so that everybody will capsize? To Nigeria, the answer will be yes. If, for example, we are in a boat, I have my family in the boat, and everybody have their family in the boat, and there's a problem with that boat, but you keep using the palm oil of my family to ensure that that boat stays afloat. You see, the hole in that boat in the middle of the sea, whenever there's a hole in the boat, you keep using the palm oil of my family members to make sure that the boat stays afloat. I'll be a fool to allow that system to continue. So the best thing I would do is to make sure I'll dig a hole in the boat, contrary to your opinion, and let the boat capsize, and everybody will try to swim to the ocean, to the seaside, and see if we are going to survive. And don't forget that in this situation, my family, they can swim, they stand a better chance of surviving. So why will I just allow my family to be used to ensure that the boat stays afloat? It's never going to work. I will not take that. You see, if we really have to be fair to ourselves, if we have to be fair to the way this country is being run, some of us don't stand a chance at all to ever aspire to the highest position of the land. Now, when we are talking about power shifting to the north and the south to the east, even that north and south dichotomy, even right there in the north, there are still some powerful northerners. There are some northerners that are actually powerful than the other northerners. Somehow, just look at the history of this democracy that we are enjoying from the beginning till today. Somehow, there is a particular northern tribe that's always in the equation. Somehow. Either they are the vice president or they are the president or they are contesting one way or the other. Are they the only ones that Nigeria is made for? So I don't see any reason why people that are standing up for the truth and those people will be tagged as people that don't want the nation to move forward. No, I think the contrary should be the case. Because now Nigeria has now got, is it not funny that anyhow that the Southeasterner, anyhow they play the politics, somebody will always come out to blame them, anyhow they play it. When they supported the PDP wholeheartedly, people said they were playing regional politics. When they spread their tents, the Southeasterner leaders, if they join other political party, people accuse them of not being together. When they want to stay neutral, people say they want to divide. Anyhow, can't you see the whole system is rigged against these guys? Anyhow, anything they do, people must always come out for them. It doesn't even bother any person. Because yesterday we were talking about how the Southeasterners, how they don't unite. No, we can't keep saying that. It's just one or two of their leaders that are just misbehaving. And again, thank you, Mr. CN, for completely debunking that yesterday. I listened to you and you debunked it that people should stop saying that the Southeasterners, they are united. Of course, I supported that move, that your stand. They are united in every ramification. Anyhow you look at it, they are united. Now, it doesn't even bother people that what, for example, the Fulani tribe, what they have even done is worse than what the Southeastern leaders have done. Does it bother any person that the election that Yaradua stood for, Buhari was also contesting in that election? Just imagine if it was to be a two Southeasterners contesting at the same time. What would the other people say? Buhari was a Fulani man. Yaradua was a Fulani man. They both contested, and I didn't read in any of the national dailies. I didn't see anywhere where anybody came out to say, "Oh, the South is the Fulanis. They are not cooperating. How can they have two people contesting at the same time?" Nobody said that. Even this election that just finished, Atiku is a Fulani man, and who again? Kwankwaso. They were all on this race, and nobody said that the Fulanis they are not united. And look at all the elections from 1999. There's always a mix of these people, but nobody ever accuses them of not being cooperative. But once you just have one stray dog from the ranks of the Easterners, people lash on that to discredit the capability of the Easterners to win election. When we had Boko Haram, people used Boko Haram to campaign for the North that they should be given opportunity because of the insurgency in their land. But when it came to the time of the IPOB, people now use that to discredit the Easterners. They use that as a basis why the Easterners should not be allowed to go near power. Before anything, there's always blackmail, 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 blackmail. For how long is this going to last? And like I keep saying, the reason I speak passionately about these things are, see, you just need to understand your stand in Nigeria. It is either you are Hausa Fulani, you are Yoruba, or you are Igbo. All of us, the rest of us, do blah 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 blah. We are all considered as Easterners, as long as you are not Hausa Fulani, you are not from across the Niger. They see us as the same. And apart from, even if they don't see us as the same, the system is not fair. And we must talk about it. We must talk about it. I don't see any reason why we live overseas, we talk about racism, and we cannot talk about ethnicity, we cannot talk about tribalism, which are even more worse than racism. Because ethnicity and tribalism, they are worse than racism in my own calculation. Because we are talking about people of the same color, of the same common ancestry, of the same DNA. We are discriminating against ourselves. We don't want to talk about it. Come on. So who is going to talk about it for us if we don't talk about it? Now, the system, we must have to understand it cannot continue like this. The way Peter Obi was robbed of this election, he was robbed. That's I don't care whoever feel offended. He was robbed because two things in my reckoning. Number one is Igbo. Because of this acrimonious meeting they've had severally, that an Igbo man would never be allowed to attain the seat of power. Because, number one, because he's Igbo, and number two, they've seen that this man is going to destroy the establishment. Why did they think he can destroy the establishment? Just like Nigeria was said earlier, they don't have anything against this man. He has not feasted with them. And I think it was Madam Rita that talked about occultic practice. He has not joined them in corruption and is not part of their occultic practices. So they don't have anything against him. So it will be very easy for him to break free from all these shenanigans. He's the only person that can take Nigeria away from these greedy politicians and hand Nigeria back to the common man, to the real owners of Nigeria. They know that. So those, in my reckoning, are the two reasons why they don't want this man to, to ever get near the seat of authority. And they are going to try. They are going to try, but they will fail. Definitely, they are going to fail. For how long can we tolerate this? You saw a boy that was not even up to 7 years, that was voting in the north, and the policeman was right there. The policeman said, in the north, you can't know them by their face. Some of them can be small. We saw that boy, and the nation just went on as if nothing happened. Look at what Erufai said. The nation went on as if nothing happened. Tinubu came out right there in the public space. He said it was his turn. It was the turn of the Yorubas. Atiku went in the Northern Conference, wherever that they had. He said clearly that the North should vote for the North. That it's only a Northern person that can assure the that can protect the interest of the North. Yet the person that said that nobody should vote for him based on tribalism or his religion, they turned around and said he was the one using those devices, those primordial sentiments to campaign. Isn't that wonderful? For how long are we going to take things like that? It must get to a stage. That's the stage we are now. We must talk. We've been talking. Some of us have been talking, and I'm glad a lot of people are joining in the talk. We keep discussing. We keep saying it. No amount of blackmail can stop us from not talking about these things. They are there. We must discuss them. We must discuss them. It only reminds me of Harry Potter. What's that man's name? Voldemort. He who must not be mentioned. That's the situation we want to turn Nigeria to. That there are some things that must not be mentioned. If we don't mention them, how are we going to solve them? The wounds are there. The obvious default are there. How can you tell me in a country? Yeah, I would like to deviate to Black Panther, who has always insisted that we have to talk. We must talk. We must discuss the basis of our unity. How can you tell me in the same country, my own child will have to be 4 times better than another child from another part of the country before he can enjoy the same thing that other children in the country are enjoying? Just because my child is is from Benin, is from Edo State, or is from the East, or is from Yoruba. And at the end of the day, these same people that you allow into the federal institution with all sorts of cutoff mark, they will still be the one that will get employed using that same federal character. And they will lord it over the rest of us. You put your worst 11 forward and you expect the best from your worst 11. How is that even possible? Why can you build a nation like that? Those are the things, those are the fault lines that are dividing the nations. Unlike two Nigeria always allude to that, oh, we should take this thing and we are falling into their trap. The trap is there. We cannot shy away from it. No, everybody wants a united Nigeria. We want a Nigeria that will work for everybody and not for some people. We want a Nigeria that will work for everybody equally and not only for some people. Just imagine you see, this aircraft man, the man that went to go and bring one aircraft from Ethiopia. We forgot that that same man was also involved in the purchase of some ambulance, and nobody is talking about that again. Everybody has forgotten about that, and that one happened not even up to 2 months ago. We are all now focused on the aircraft, and nothing is being done to this man. He's working a free man. They make example of some group of people at every point in time. How can you tell me since the inception of the country, nobody from any tribe has been the minister of the FCT, but you have all manner of people being the minister of petroleum and natural resources. For any person in the country can be minister of petroleum, but nobody from the country can be the FCT minister unless you are from the northern part of the country. How does it work like that? Now you take resources directly from the Niger Delta area, you use it to develop the whole of the country. Even the Lagos they are talking about now, was Lagos not built by Nigeria's fund? And now you are excluding some people. You are excluding some people away from that same Lagos. We saw clearly in during election, people were boasting that if you are from so and so part of the country, you can't vote. And the people that should uphold the law, they were standing there. They did nothing. And you keep telling us that we shouldn't talk, we shouldn't break up the country, we should just be calm.
Okay. Try and round up so that Alaba can talk to us, sir.
Yeah, it's okay. Let me just round up. It's never going to be possible. Never. We have to keep saying it. We have to keep saying it the way it is. And before I round up, thank you again for the guys that I mentioned earlier, Mr. Alex, Black Panther, Alaba, CN, for all your literature reviews before your presentation. I enjoy all of them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chris. Thank you very much. I'm happy to have you on the panel. All right, Mr. Alaba, it's good to have you back again, sir. Talk to us on the new
Yeah,
topic.
can you all hear me?
Yes, sir, we can. Thank you, sir.
Okay, I could barely hear myself. That's why. Okay.
No, you're good.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you for all your contribution. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. CM, and everybody on the panel and Niger Watch. You see, let me start with that statement Tinubu made that if the court, that anybody that tried to stifle democracy would not be tolerated if the court gives an order. That's what do we call it here in America? That's when you dog whistle. That is what they call it. It's sending signals, dog whistle, to the judges that despite the weight of evidence, they shouldn't act accordingly. They should act in the usual Nigerian context, the cabal says. That statement is very big, but this cannot continue, my people. It has to end. We're 63 years. This started 63. This whole problem, like CM used to say it, is Nigeria has been trapped by the 1966 group. Up till now, they just changed name, recruited more people. You know, I like to call them, I call the system itself big manism, but people call it cabal, cartel, correct names. This thing cannot continue. They're fooling themselves. They are in the dying age. Now, this is what I think is happening. If they don't let Obi rule, it's sad to say there will be no Nigeria, because to that action, there will be an equal and opposite reaction to that. That's what they don't understand. They just don't understand much about power. They think since they've been able to manipulate, dribble, Maradona these, dictate these, control these, we are born to rule that. They've been doing it since 1960s, that they are now invincible. They are now godlike. They have a godlike feeling. They can do whatever they want. I quoted for you one of those who I feel has been compromised. One of the educated people who have been compromised, who says it is the elite echo chamber that is fragmented, not the people. Can any of us here really say that the Nigerian people are not fragmented? That it is just the elite, just those the OBs and versus the Atikus versus the Tinubus that are fragmented? You see how delusional they are in their thinking. But this is what happens. That is what power does to people. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. And the two elements of politics are in play in Nigeria: greed and fear. Fear on the people, being imposed on the people, that makes them scared, always afraid for their life. And greed by the rulers, the ruiners. We should stop calling them rulers. They're not rulers, they're ruiners. And then that divisive thing that this Egbekegbe APC is now pushing, this tribal thing, very, very dangerous. Tribal and El Rufai thing, the religious thing, Very, very dangerous. We should just keep praying. I don't like using the word prayer because since I was like 17 or 18, first year or second year in university, when I go to church, Holy Cross Cathedral, they were prayer for Nigeria in distress. Jesus, I'm 54 now. My daughter is about to go to medical school. Nigeria is still in distress. What kind of God are we praying to? Jesus. Man, we've been praying since I was a young boy. Prayer, I remember that prayer for Nigeria in distress, and we will recite it, blah, blah, blah. Nigeria is even in more distress now than, anyway, we're back in 1965. If they think nothing is going to happen, they still think, oh, we are us, we are the cabal. They are fooling themselves. One point I want to say before I forget is that Obi has to be protected, because if they play this game, to them it's a game of thrones. You either win or die. I hope we're not allowed to use that. But we pay. Sorry about that. Yeah. So I think we have to, Mama, God, please protect him, because though they don't give him the Abiola solution, we have to pray for him in that light. Now, having put that out, two things has to be dealt with. The issue of impunity. I know all of us want Nigeria to be better, if we don't get rid of these people, or if we don't have that obese start. Now, it's either we have that obese start through this democratic vote and they let Obi rule, or we have it through some kind of radical Jerry Rawlings style to get rid of this so-called 66 group and their minions. If we don't have that, Nigeria, the problem is this impunity thing. We cannot have a lawless country. Nigeria is a crime scene. This month alone, last 2 months, just all the billions, all the trillions, Nigerian Airways, Nigerian Air Force, Nigerian D's, just sharing money, oil fuel subsidy. Mélòó la fẹ́ kà? How many can we count? It's too much. It's a million, and this is what they want to continue. I know I'm preaching to the choir here, because the people on the panel, the Tinubu crew will be worse than the Buhari crew. We all know that. Let's not even go there. So what I want to touch last is this issue of those of us who are educated, how we have become part of the problem of Nigeria. Just a small mention of it, the educated ones. I remember when Stephen Biko was young and he was a final year student in South Africa, and he was about to graduate as a medical doctor. He saw the problem. That man is a very smart man, very visionary South African. He was, he saw by then the Mandelas were in jail. He saw the problem of apartheid and he cannot be a second-class citizen in his own country. By the way, Nigeria has turned all the other tribes into second-class citizens. You are Igbo, you can't win presidency. You are Edo, you're not going anywhere. You understand? We're basically second-class citizens in our own fatherland, which is very sad. So he saw this effect of apartheid and said, no, even if I become a doctor, I would still be a second-class citizen. So my first mission in life is to go and fight apartheid. And he was a great fighter. In fact, there was one of his books, Testimony of Stephen Biko. If any of you ever had a chance to read it, I never read it to the end. I only read it up to page 7. And I said, my mind is not mature enough for this book. But it's a very powerful book. Yeah, there's also a movie on it, The Testimony of Stephen Biko. He was killed in prison. The man said, I cannot go become a doctor. This is why I said the educated ones, including me, a little bit, we failed the country. When things were hard, we fought the Babangidas and all the rest, and I saw that the water was covering our mouth. Said, well, I got to survive. I japa. Yeah, I made it in America. Blah, blah, blah. So many of us speaking on this panel, but that problem keep growing into an Iroko tree and makes it worse. It's harder to define, unlike apartheid. So we are now where we are, where it's becoming more and more visible, and everybody is seeing it. What those little soldiers saw in 1966 that made them struck in January, that, these people want to use us to suppress the people. We got to take them out. Anyway, that's history. So the educated ones are a problem. They're the radical ones that overreact, oversabi, overdo, like Showore. Everything Obi does is bad. When did I even start hearing about Obi? This January, when my friend was, there's this movement. I said, Nigeria, you for all Nigeria. When did I start hearing about? I noticed all he does is attack Obi, attack Obi, attack Obi. Those are excessive radical ones. Then there's the two-sided ones, the Emenumejis, the FFKs, the Festus Keyamus among us, and there are some that might also be in the panel. You understand? Those who are in denial as to the reality of the problem. They are in denial. And now I don't know if that denial is on purpose or by accident. But whatever the case, they don't see the magnitude of the problem. Oh, we're doing good. We're improving. Or maybe they can do it. Maybe the same APC we've had in 8 years, you have an educated human being come out and say, maybe they can do it. Are you freaking kidding me? Where's your brain? That left aside. Then, so we have those two-sided ones. Then we have the compromise one, like my colleague that I went to last week back then, Ezinwa, what was his title there? Chairman, Partners for Electoral Reforms. We have those ones and some other people who are working for all this APC, PDP, and all the sharing of channel, the Abati. There's so many, the educated ones. You understand? The compromised ones, where issues of truth don't matter to them. Issues of the future of their own country don't matter as long as they are living in Banana Island or Victoria Island or Ikoyi. Issues of progress for their own children. I really sympathize with these people. I go home. I don't go home regularly, but I go home, let's say once a year. Like last year, I went to go bury my dad, and I stayed with some of my so-called wealthy cousins. Life is not easy. Boy, they have to fuel generator. They pay very expensive school fees for their children. They have to drive through terrible. Life is not easy for them. I say, boy, how you guys they survive when I don't get high blood pressure for this kind of thing? And those are the people who still, because they are in the upper echelon of the system, they are not at the bottom cadre like those selling on the street, that still support this madness. They compromise because they're gaining. Maybe they have a school or they have a business or they have a contract or something that's going to come in that is fueling this madness. They're gaining. Those are the educated ones. You see 3 categories of one. I wish the educated ones were like the Stephen Bikos. You understand? People who can see the future. Say, danger, danger, Lombo, this is dangerous. This would not be good for my children or children. What they don't understand is that you have power today doesn't mean you have it tomorrow. Remember, there was a time Obasanjo was president. There was a time he didn't have power. What did Abacha put him? Nearly killed him. There was a time the likes of General Dia, were all behind Abacha and all that. The same Abacha nearly killed him. You understand? These people, they don't understand the dynamic of change. And that, yes. Yeah.
3 times now you have used the word KKK.
Oh, yeah. Always caution me when I'm too much emotional like that. Calm down, Alaba. I'm so I get too.
No, please.
Yeah, I owe you 5G right on that one.
All time. No.
I owe you 5G on that one. So that would not happen again. So these people, so the thing changed. Today, the Nigeria is yours, but tomorrow, the same injustice you never prevented is coming to swallow you. That's what they don't understand. Whether both the radical ones, the two-sided mouth ones, or the compromised ones, the same injustice you never address is coming to swallow you. And if it doesn't swallow you, it will catch up on your children or grandchildren. I don't know why we don't have that wisdom. I see someone post that prayer for Nigeria in distress. What's 17 prayer for Nigeria in distress? We're still in distress. That's all I want to say, guys. Any question or anything?
Thank you.
Elvis, apologize big time. I will pay for that fine.
No problem, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. God bless you. All right, people. I want to quickly check first if anybody is sleeping on duty, so that because there are a lot of people that want to come in. So if I call your name, you did not answer, I know you're already asleep, I'll remove you. Let me see.
I,
Mr.
Mr. Evans, I would just continue with you guys on the YouTube page. I would exit now so
Okay,
that others can come in.
okay, that's good then. That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Thank you, sir. Because there are more people that want to come in now, right now. Okay. All right. I'm not sure who's coming, but remember, you must turn on your camera for me to allow you in. So these APC satanic people na night that they waka. So, yeah. So if you are coming here, you must know say your camera will be turned on. If you not turn your camera on, I will not allow you in. That's it. Okay, let me go to the next person before we accept. Please turn on your camera. I just the talk just now. Let me go to okay. Now everybody don't talk for here. I would like to come to Mr. Alex
Not me, oh.
Barrister. You said what?
I don't think I've spoken, have I?
No, this
This
is
second
second round
station.
now.
Okay. Yeah,
So
this
Yeah,
is
no,
another
this is
round.
none of
another round,
una,
of course.
none of una don't talk for this second session, and only new people don't talk. Let me hear from Mr. Alex first. Mr. Alex, speak to us.
Yes, we'll see. I've got time today, so guys, let's peruse in total the nitty gritty. Let us have a nostalgia. Historically, let's reflect. Our history, for me, is the most powerful and the most dangerous course to study. It was history that made Ojukwu head Nigeria hostage for 2.5 years. Good or bad, America is dealing with the world today because they have the history of everybody. It doesn't matter what British do sometimes. America calls them to order. Go and check this, the abolition of the slave trade. America made Britain obey that abolition. So, guys, for me, historically, we had great kingdoms. The Oyo Empire, the Benin Empire, the Kanuri, the Igbo city states, and so on and so forth. We have to say these things because our history was removed from the curriculum, because some of us already snatched the knowledge before they did that barbaric and satanic activity. The military government and the leaders. They forcefully brought us together. I'm going somewhere. They came to these kingdoms as explorers. First of all, in 1342, they came through Gelegele. We've not really had a governor that has sense in Edo State. Gelegele Seaport would have been a world-class tourism sector. It was the first place the Europeans passed to enter Nigeria as explorers led by Alvaro dos Santos. Go to Portugal in Lisbon at their National Museum. You see the drawings of the great ancient Benin Kingdom. They forcefully brought us together. They decimated people. People were taken out, and they made a deal with the Northerners. What were the deals? Some of the conditions are as follows. Number one, we will not fight you because we know you have support from the Middle East because of your religion. Two, we will make sure you have more number than these people. Who are these people? The Southerners. Let me tell you, there was nothing like Southeast, nothing like South or Southwest. It's a divide and rule mechanism of the British. The amalgamation was between the Northern Protectorate and the Southern Protectorate. So who made us Southeast? Who made us Southwest? Who made us South? Who made them North Central? Who gave them the population they claim to have? Why are they afraid when we reveal certain truths? So these are questions academicians like us ponder about. And we want to expose these things. And we continue to expose it. Thank God for the social media. So whether they want to divide themselves and continue with the British way of ruling, the British prevailed on the military government. They created states to weaken the Southeast especially. They started creating states from them, like Rivers, a lot of states, Bayelsa. It was all South. So they just want to continue to oppress people. They say we are equal. And now you are telling me a man who did his homework against all odds won elections democratically, legally, nothing against him. Oh my God! It reminds me of Jesus and the two thieves. How they rejected the Lord of hosts. I'm not comparing Jesus and Obi, but it's just a parable. Of course, Jesus spoke in parables. They say, give us a criminal, free the criminal, crucify him, away with him. It seems as they are doing Obi. Listen, the comment of Mr. Tinubu, it shows dictatorial. It shows that they are staring at either a defeat or a rerun at the court session, at the legal luminary. Just now, the whole world, Nigerians, they think we never, are easy to move. Nigerians have not moved on. You don't understand. The propaganda machine they used against Abiola because he was one of them is not there to use against Obi. Obi has not peddled drugs with them. Obi has not done shady deals with them. Obi has not taken anybody's lives with them. These are things that implicated MKO Abiola that made them, just see him as one of them. They can do anything they like with him. Of course, they gave him contracts. They allow him do all this. Allegedly was also involved in a worldwide drug cartel business. Of course, like our man Bola Tinubu. So for him to come out to warn people, we are not his children. We are not all the same. Instead of us to sit down to question the amalgamation, since we are not working, since there is a lot of crisis. Listen, I was never a separatist. I was never a divisive person. No, it is a situation that bends the crayfish. It is a situation that makes people to start thinking. We are not all going to be robots. We will not all be robots. Some of us can think. We have our minds. Some of us are not corrupted. Who told you I don't have people in government? Let me tell you, House of Rep, a friend of mine that won on that Labour Party, is disturbing my life since about a month plus. He said, me that can't talk like you, me that didn't read politics, I won by the people's choice. You must come and do politics. Listen, I have friends. That doesn't. I told them, I said, once they've sworn you guys in now, I'm going to be the first. I will bring your name to the whole world if you don't perform. And I will lash on you guys. I have nothing to listen to me, guys. It's for the betterment. If you don't want the country to exist as one, so why are you forcing people into a marriage that is frustrating people? Marriage is not by force. You refuse to give them the basics of life. You refuse to give them a constitution that reflects the realities of the country, a country that was brought together by force by Europeans out of jealousy. Or out of expansion, trade expansion. And now you just look at them and continue to allow a section of the country to oppress the other side. And some of us will argue that the oppressed should continue to be civil. Don't let them tear us apart. Don't give in for their game. Are you there when I'm suffering? Do you know how much I buy Gary a day here? Do you know how I trek sometimes just to avoid driving my car because I don't have enough fuel? Do you know if any of, the kidnapping situation around my area? Do you know how I survive? It's easy to say, don't let them tear you. Don't let them tear you. They've torn everybody already. They've torn us apart a long time ago. We are not one. Erufai is still moving around scot-free. If it is me that said such things on TV and as I'm a governor, by now DSS will be rounding off my full area. Sunday Igboho did not do what that midget of Kaduna did. That evil shortman devil, governor of Kaduna did. Sunday Igboho's people were taken out. None of the Kanu's people were taken out. Even when he was enjoying bail from court. Operation Python that invaded his father's land. Took out people. I don't want to use the word. I'm controlling myself with the new rules of the platform. Because I like to use that word. To really amplify the obvious reality of these men's actions. You can't tell people not to react when you are oppressing, you are repressing them, you subject them to untold hardship. Do you know how my father lived? Do you know how my sisters, my brothers survived? Do you know? So you have no right to tell me how to behave. If they care about the country so much, they've had it in their hands as military heads of state. Buhari was a military head of state. Obasanjo was a military head of state. Babangida was a military head of state. Murtala Mohammed was a military head of state. Yaradua was there. What's this guy's name? There's another guy. These guys had the opportunity. Jonathan Goodluck was a civilian head of state. He won elections. Why didn't they fix the country? Why didn't they fix the country? So that's why I just look at people when they argue, I laugh. What Tinubu said is out of fear, out of panic. He's seeing he's hearing the scores of the judiciary. is seeing the glaring victory of Mr. Peter Obi. Is it not shameful that a ruling party will lose Lagos? A ruling party. Because of the wickedness that happened in Nigeria. The NSACs, the Lekki Toll Gate massacre is still there. The ending of the life of a young girl called Deborah is still there. The Abuja Kaduna train kidnap saga, where we have people in power. What other divisive means are you talking about? What other division do you want? Are they not letting you know that Northerners can go ahead kidnapping, raping women, taking people acts of this world just like that with impunity? And you expect us from the south, and southeast to keep quiet, to behave civilly, to not to let America tear us apart, not to let England tear us apart. Is America in my house? Is it not full of me I'm seeing? I don't get it. So Tinubu for me is telling our defeat. He's telling her, obviously he's scared. Those are the words of a dying man, of a dying ox, of a man that is giving up the ghost. Let me change the language. Those are the words of a man who is already giving up the ghost. Because if he was not giving up he would have focused on governance, not on tribunal. After all, he didn't care about this tribunal. He has never appeared on any of the cases laid against him, which is against the principles of democracy, against the principles of the rule of law. Nobody is supposed to be above the law, but he is the one that should have acted that movie above the law, because he has acted, with all sense of, ingenuity, with reckless abandon to Nigerians. Even before the elections, he went to Chatham House. He refused to appear on any media, engagement with the people he claimed he wants to rule. They just think all Nigerians are gullible, all Nigerians are forgetful, all Nigerians don't have memory. Some of us are blessed. The Bible says the children of Issachar. Issachar is one of the 12 tribes of Israel. Amongst all other tribes, the children of Issachar were men of understanding. They knew what Israel ought to do. They understood the signs of time. That tribe is always the one telling the historical perspective to every leader God raised in Israel those days, in the biblical days. Some of us are from that tribe. So Tinubu, for me, he knows he didn't win. How did you win when you didn't win Lagos? You didn't win Abuja. You didn't win Edo State. You didn't win Plateau. You didn't win Rivers. Oh my goodness, you didn't win Benue. You didn't win, what's it called? Lafia. All those states. Where did you not get the figures? How did you get it? What did your party do for 8 years, apart from tears, sorrow, and I don't want to use the word, it's been a lot of impunity. An APC shifting said it. That's 6 million AK-47s, handled by 6 million imported Fulani herdsmen, are roaming around the streets of the country. We all saw the panic. We all saw the rounding off of our express roads. So you expect people to just swallow all this hook, line, and sinker? We also saw how monies were missing, how Nigerians were leaving the country, how people were suffering. You saw how prices of things went up, blew up. And some people argue that it's worldwide. No, in Nigeria, it's self-inflicted, because we have a set of leaders that don't deserve to be alive. They don't deserve anything good on earth. They take their children abroad and they divide people in the north with Islamic activities. Yet the Western world they claim to be against, their children are badging different degrees, and they are deceiving people. So defend yourself. Defend yourself should anything happen, because nobody, no woman will endure an abusive marriage forever. The day a quiet and abused and a repressed woman comes for you, you will never be able to stand. Hell has not known any fury than the anger of a woman. So Nigeria is a woman. It's been kidnapped, it's been oppressed, it's been abused, it's been repressed. We are going to come up with them, because we have nothing to live for, nothing. You study in Nigeria now, you are as good as somebody that didn't go to school, because no job waiting for you, no opportunities. You must know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who will not know somebody who will not know somebody, and who will not help you to say, go and see this person. That is not how a country is run. Yet some politicians come on air, they flaunt their cars and their mansions, and they discourage hard work. Young people now see education as a scam in Nigeria. They see education as a scam. Does that not worry you? Because they see their elder brothers, elder sisters, aunties struggling to even get into the labor market. There is no labor market anymore. It has vanished. Those days growing up, I saw my uncles throw parties. I was very young, like 5, 7 years old. I saw them throw parties because they got admission into UI. They got admission into Uniben. They throw parties because companies we come to the gate of the school on final day of their final exam to recruit people who are graduating. My goodness. I was hearing Mama H.O. talking about she will come and reveal the days where Nigeria was better than Canada and France. Yes, I saw white people working in our area. I saw Indians coming to teach mathematics in schools around us. But because we have leaders who are daft, leaders who benefited from this same process, the Fasholas of this world, the Osebajans of this world, those little, even the Festus Keyamo, many of them were, they got this free education we had at some point, but now they turn around, they've dined with the devil, they destroyed the country. Today now, because of the pressure of the courts, they are doing quick development. They are bringing lights. Oh my goodness, they are flashing electricity. Nnamdi Kanu was right. Nigeria is a zoo, a real zoo. They are jumping like monkeys because of light. My goodness, with respect to everybody, my goodness, this is like a comic scenario. I don't know the word to qualify this hilarious. They are laughing like jackals because Nnamdi Kanu was right. They don't got this carrot for you, and they will come and whip you later. Buhari was anti-corruption in the first 2 years. But what happened next? If you know the millions of lives that were lost in Kaduna, no justice, and you expect us to keep quiet. So for me, trace your history back. They removed the history, they brought it back now. They've adulterated it in chemistry, or is it physics? Filtration method, they've gone to filter it, and they've brought what they've doctored to our curriculum or our academic syllabus. But some of us are alive. History has 3 branches. One is the written record, the oral tradition, and the archaeology. So we are using the oral tradition here through the social media to educate people. Oral tradition has always been the most trusted source of telling history. So no matter what they do, some of us are still around, and may God keep us around. We will continue to right the wrong. We will continue to tell people the truth, expose these wicked men and women. It doesn't take 20 years to build a country. Singapore did it. Malaysia did it. In 77, Malaysia came to Nigeria, cap in hand, begging for loans and agricultural product like palm kernel. They use that to catapult themselves from third world country into first world. We have leaders who are dumb, daft, clueless, occultic, evil. All they know is taking out people, buying houses, marrying women, then blame Nigerians for the problem of Nigeria. And they send surrogates to different platforms to continue to blame Nigerians, as if Nigerians are the ones who are buying houses with stolen money in different parts of the world. So let's focus on the leadership. We need to right the wrong of our leadership. Thank you.
Wow. Regardless, you don't carry all the whole time finish. Thank you very much, my brother. All right.
My sincere apology for that. It was not planned.
No, that's fine. That's fine. The beautiful thing about it is that the session is a section where we don't have a time limit. All right. You can see more people right down in the comment section. Benabos, thanks for joining us. Don Anthony, Tony Africa, Tony Ola, Anthony Ola. God bless every one of you. Okay, Anthony, you're for everywhere. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank God bless every one of you right there. Let me quickly go on now let me see if Give Us a Mandate is still awake. Give Us a Mandate, are you awake? Are you there with us? Okay, Give Us a Mandate, you don't sleep. All right, what about Oga Felix? Are you with us? Okay, 12 now, don't sleep. Okay. Yeah, when I have somebody that want to replace you guys, I'll know, but Blampata, no, he'll not go, he never sleep. Blampata, talk to us.
I did, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, everyone. Thank you. We are in another session. Yeah, and I might offend some people in this session, but please bear with me. I'm trying to maneuver my way through the whole issues so that we can finally come to a conclusion. I thank Mr. CM. I thank Mr. Our brother. I've forgotten his name again. I'm not very good with his name. He spoke eloquently well. He went into history and some other things. And I thank Mr. Alex. You're always on point. And thank you for that aggressive, historical, brief historical stuff you did there. And I want to come to this. I want to draw it from these two positions. And I will mention tribe. So you people will be ready for the stuff. I will offend some people here. But it's the truth that I will offend some. I want to offend some people here. But bear me, I'm not trying to do, I'm just trying to go into history to dig out some things so that we can understand the whole issues. I want to state this from in 1963, where we have a democratic setting. A democratic setting where we have the parliamentary system. The parliamentary system did not fail Nigeria. It never failed Nigeria. And Nigeria never come, people who own the sovereignty of the country never say this system is terrible. Rather, they were enjoying the system and the system was working in every region. That was when the unity of Nigeria was beginning to be strong. They were building it. We have the pyramid in the north. We have the cocoa in the west. We have the coal in the east. Things, we were generating income to build a nation, to begin to build the pillars that will hold a country. We believed in that thing, in that constitution, because we saw ourselves struggling around our region to build a country. We had a prime minister that visited America, and America stood the first time. I've never seen it before. America stood on a roll call, waving Nigerian flag alongside the American flag, and they were clapping for our prime minister. They were proud to do business with us. They were proud to see them supporting a black race, because then the racism was high in America. But they wanted to be in support of a black nation so that they will erase themselves and say they are not against the black nation. They want to see themselves like that. And they welcome Nigerian Prime Minister to America. They were glad to give Nigeria they were glad to give Nigeria an aircraft to even bring our prime minister down. They were proud because they wanted something that will engage them with a very powerful black nation called Nigeria, so that the world will see that yes, they are ready to break that fundamentals of racism. It was a gradual process. Now, then I will say this: the military and Nigerian military is a disgrace and aberration to humanity. Nigerian military, that's why I say, people just bear with me. I'm going to make something that will make you annoyed. Nigerian military, I want to use strong word. They are disgrace and aberration to Africa. One, they systemically truncated that fundamental foundation that was built. They did it purposely because of greed. Because they wanted to take power. Because they never wanted the civilian to head them. They disagree among themselves. And they now put it on the head of those that hold the sovereignty of the nation. They did that purposely to truncate that system that was working, because I've never seen any Nigerian challenge me that says that 1963 was not good, was not close to perfect. But the military, they use their stupidity and greed fighting among themselves. Then we intellectuals now bought the ideas that yes, oh, because the military is made up of different regions, the south, the west, oh, they said they are mocking this because they did this, they are mocking this. I said this before, that one of the problems we have in Nigeria are the most educated ones that know the truth, but they decide to turn history around to fight the sovereignty of the nation. I will now move down to Buhari, Shagari time. Shagari was there. He did his own. The same military that truncated the other one, truncated Shagari. But not this. In all this, from Shagari time down, in Shagari time, the military, there's one portion of the Nigerian enclave that controlled that season. It was the North. That led to all the northern military, whatever, that truncated down to Babangida, that decided to stay in power for so long. Then came to the delivery of a new era. Then they hurried up and gave us a constitution that will benefit some part of the country, which we all know, but we decided to follow because the so-called Nadeco lost their focus at the end of the tunnel. They lost it because that was the time they would have stood up. But we stood up when Jonathan came, because Jonathan was a child of circumstance. He came in. The reason today, I want all of you to go and check it very closely. The reason why Jonathan was thrown out with so many attachés around him, they make the gullible Nigerians, educate Nigerians and other ones that are not educated to believe that because of the oil, whatever, subsidy, and so many things that were stolen, because every time they steal. So Jonathan is not a new thing. They make us to believe that Jonathan was, a quote and a quote, his regime was the worst ever. But it was calculated because Jonathan wanted the power because of that sovereign national conference he did, which they opposed from the north. Because there were a strong human rights coalition that held Jonathan by his balls. Jonathan couldn't cope. That was why that thing came to pass. And they used it because Jonathan dared the consequences. He must do that conference so that we know where we start from. Anybody that takes on from me, we know that we have come together to do something. And Jonathan did a good work, gave them all the money, and they rallied around. To buttress that point, they didn't agree with it. That was why when Buhari came, Buhari had to dislodge it and trash it. But didn't know it was there on the internet for us and our generation to see what we gathered ourselves to see, which cost us billions of dollars. When this man, Agbadona, started saying this word, strict Nigerian democracy, we will not tolerate it. These are the language of the military. He joined it together with the democracy word. These are the language of the military, because this is the voice of an autocratic person. And he got that from the long reign of military regime we had. So what I'm trying to say is that there are two regions in Nigeria that are truncating and stiffening democracy in Nigeria. They call this thing Wazobia, and they took out that beer, and it now remained Wa and Zo. The Wa and Zo are the people that have joined hand now. If you look at it, they have joined hand to truncate this democracy because they have gathered together to make it impossible for any other part of the country to have the say in the governance of their own fatherland. This man called Agbado is there to fulfill what they did. They gathered in the north. Because there was one time a lady was being interviewed. He told Agbado, do this for us. What do you have for the north? He said he have nothing. But if he goes back, they will buy him. Remember those words. I know most of you have forgotten, but I'm trying to remind you all. That to show you that this country, Nigeria, Abubakar, one of their boss in the north then, said one thing. He said they prefer to go and pick somebody else outside the country to come and even administer things in Nigeria rather than taking the Bia people. That is to show you all the foundation and the lacuna and the rottenness of the so-called quote and unquote the Nigerian system has been. To tell you that when we come here and use the trajectory of the military, saying that the people are saying, oh, they were mocking or they were mocking, the military it more or less they did a devastating blow to democracy in Nigeria. Because the 1963 never failed. It was the military that failed the country by playing a card of a tribal card. And that tribal card was played in order for the North to start what they are doing up to today. They are born to rule. I remind you all, they said they were born to rule. That is an ideology that has been planted in every heart of an average northern person. Despite all this euphoria that is happening now,
all right,
because of the analysis they did. So I am saying this, that the reason why I'm saying this is that the foundation which we are building, the foundation we are building now, we end up in catastrophe. They don't give that part to Obi because they know that if Obi change the electoral law, the end of the oligarch reign in the entire Black Africa in Nigeria. That is the end, because the other African countries will harness finances to do the same thing Nigeria did. For him to tell you that the diaspora will be voting, he will make sure that is the first point of call. And no man will come up to announce who the president is. Rather, the people that hold the sovereignty of the nation will announce and rectify who their president will be. That is what we're going to do, and that is what will make Nigeria. Any other thing, everybody will go into its own tent and create a nation of his own. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Black Panther. I appreciate you. Okay, let me come to Niger. After to Niger, Mama Esho and Oga okay, to Niger, are you there with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Thank you. I think you don't sleep. Oh.
No, I'm here. I'm just listening quietly. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, this statement by Tinubu doesn't come across as, it's a very odd statement to make. When he knows full well that there is a case going on, and whatever generally judiciary stamped on democracy, is generally to favor the incumbency. So, which is very odd that he is making that kind of comment, that because in reality, Whenever judiciary is doing that kind of stuff in any kind of democracy, is to favor the people in office. It's never to favor the House of Assembly or the other branches or the legal profession itself. So for him making that comment, then he tells you the direction where he's the people he's trying to target with that statement. And about what has been happening in the country, because I think in the end that's what seems to be behind everybody's comments from Merofa and all that. And most of the people that are making all these comments are acolytes of the APC and the president. And clearly, what they've decided is that given the landscape of politics right now in Nigeria, is the divisive thing. Ethnic politics is what they want to play, and without a care for the consequences it could lead to, whether it's going to help the country or not, they don't care. And no matter how we, try to run from it, hide from it, no matter what, this century doesn't care. The others, the other people's presence in this world, they don't care. They're not going to disappear. They are going to keep advancing. Their AI technology, their quantum technology, their space technology, their nuclear technology, bioweapons, all of them, they will keep advancing. And we'll be here talking and arguing amongst ourselves while the world is going on. I wish that wasn't the case, because that will give us time to, indulge ourselves in some of all these things that we are doing. And I fear sometimes maybe it's too late for us, because sometimes the way we talk, I don't understand it, because do we even take time to watch how other people behave and what the kind of things that they are doing and how they see us? Do we even take time to really observe these things? Because they look at us and they think, these people, in short, some of them have completely, they are not even looking at it like, they just look at it like a breed of people that they cannot do whatever they like with. Some of them will be like, oh, maybe these people, they can't get their act together. They just seem like they are weird, lost people that just argue, and they don't seem to make sense. So they look down on us because we are not projecting ourselves, and we are creating a vacuum in the world. We are a massive population, but we don't control anything. Nothing.
To Niger, sorry, I think they don't look down, or they look down on our leaders. Because our people are
Yeah,
doing great things
that's
around the
why
world.
they are leaders.
Some of the best
See,
engineers,
Alex, stop
doctors.
patronizing people. Stop patronizing people. It's not going to help.
No, I'm not patronizing. I'm just telling you, don't generalize. They look down on our wicked
See,
leaders, is the point. You are abroad, flying our flag. You are a great guy. You are doing legitimate things.
they,
So they look down they know about the rottenness of our leaders, because they are in charge of the banking system. They know how much is stolen every time from the people. They know these things. So we have to keep engaging ourselves until we get it right.
it's not how these people see it. When a child from a poor family shows up, they don't say, oh, because the dad is poor, the child is different. They will just associate the child with that same fate. And
No, that's not true, sir.
when let me finish can I
Depending on the
talk,
child's
please?
character, sir.
I didn't this thing. See, when they do some of the things they do to Africans in North Africa, they don't check with Buhari or check with Kofoado or Paul Biya. They do what they do to their people. You saw what happened in Morocco. We all know how they treat us in Libya and all the rest of it. So you go to the Middle East, the same thing. How they refer to us, their term for us is technically slaves. That's what they refer to us as. So, and we can pretend these things are not true and say that it's just our leaders they are looking at. No, they are not. They are looking at us. They don't see just the leaders, they see us. We create the leaders too. Let's not forget that. They
I'm
look
not
at
a
us
slave.
and
I'm not a slave.
you
Sorry,
can, of course, you can
and I
say
would never
that.
be a slave to
See,
anybody.
you know what? I am
You can
sometimes no
accept
matter
what you can accept what they say, but
no
I'm not
matter
a slave, sir.
I'm not accepting what they said. When I say that this is how they see things, it doesn't necessarily mean I accept it. But I'm letting you understand that there are some things that are outside your control. When people see you in a certain way, you can't control that. If let's say you want to call yourself a horse, And because you say you are a host, would human beings decide to say that you're not a human being anymore? No, you can indulge yourself, but you can't force them to indulge in your own self awareness or the way you perceive the world. So I'm letting you understand from what I've seen, the way they treat us. They see us as a group. They don't care whether you're Muslim or Christian. They just see people that are not getting their act together. If we keep doing this thing where we keep thinking that there's a future that when we go into the past, a future where we reverse back into the past to achieve, no, it's not going to happen. In Europe, if they had decided that they want to go back to the 1800s, you think they will not be into another world war again? They will be into another world war. They never
But
went back.
there's war in Europe already. Are you sleeping, my brother?
There,
There's war in
there's
Europe, and they are getting ready for a third world war. Are you not aware of this?
hold on
Allow
now.
him to make his point, please.
And lastly, there's a way we see these Western world people. We see them as colonialists, invaders, and murderers. Because the king of Belgium, took out about
Can
10
you
million or
stop
20 million Congolese.
interrupting so that I can follow what he's saying? Just
Okay,
allow him
okay,
to rant, please.
okay. Sorry.
So and they don't go back, even if there is a war in Europe right now. The war is limited to specific areas, and even if they go into a world war, it's because they lost their discipline. They lost it, and if they lose it and they start dividing among themselves, guess what? Consequences again, and they will do what they've done in the past, and they will pay for it. Is still the same thing that I'm talking against within our own context. You can't have a situation whereby you keep dividing yourself and expect to get progress out of it. You won't. You're just going to get destruction, backwardness, no development, and the suffering that will ensue is just staggering. Anything that we've seen on in Nigeria is nothing close to what has happened in Europe. And if they go in that direction, they will pay too. Anybody, the same law, it applies to any group. If you are divided, you choose that this one is the one you want to go for, you are going to pay. And the north, the east, the south, everywhere in Nigeria, anybody that believes that they want their children to do well for the near future, they want to have a place for their their heritage to survive in and control their fate on this land, they better do the right thing by them by focusing on kicking these corrupt leaders away and taking control of their country, secure their people's future. What our forefathers lost and they didn't put in place was our ability to defend ourselves, was our ability to innovate, was our ability to work together. That is what they didn't put in place. And if we don't put it in place, we are going to end up in the same way they ended up to. And these things are not optional. It's not up to you. If you don't do them, there will be consequences. You wanted to say something.
Yes. What I wanted to just chip in is that you said something now that we need to do something. As a civilian, the only thing you could do is your franchise. We voted. Nigerians are united. Nigerians don't want to go away. That's why they voted for P2B. Oh, the thing is that when you vote, even in the Western world, if they vote and you rig the election, people will come out and, in fact, they even kill you. In our own case, we voted. That vote means, okay, 30 years ago, Abiola, we voted for him. Is it not unity? They said Abiola won a pan-Nigerian mandate all over. He beat Tofa in Kano. Everybody will tell you what happened. That's why 30 years later, we are repeating the same thing. For how long? That's why people are saying when one door closes, another door will open. That's why people are saying it. It's not that nobody likes to go away. But what do you do as a civilian? Do I take arms? You say no. Now, I use just ballot paper and thumbprint. Obey the rules. You said no. What do you want me to do? Can you have it both ways?
Exactly.
That is the issue. That is the issue.
So the way to deal with this problem is not to first go for the wrong solution. Sometimes the right solution is not very intuitive because obviously you want to react with hot reaction. You have to go in the direction of removing them from their position without tearing the whole roof down. We barely have a roof, but if we tear what we have down, we are not going to even have any at all. And I think P2B is correct in the approach it's using. And we are just in the process. And I think people are, getting, the Tinubu is in office and the process is going slowly. They're beginning to lose their way a little bit, which is fine. It's normal. But you have to understand that process is going on. Let's see what the results are. And if the result is clear in either direction, then we'll have they will move to the next issues to deal with. But in the end, this is why I keep saying it. What we don't have, if you know what you don't have, and you want to progress into the future so that we can have a future on this land, you tend to be able to see where the problems are. You tend to be able to see where the problems are. Anything that wants to stop it, you will see it. Like for me, I want us to be secure. I want us to be transparent. I want us to have power supply. You have those things. The rest, Nigerians will take care of the rest. They will innovate. They will grow, and nobody will mess with them. Even us will come back from overseas. But anytime anything wants to get in the way of that, you will see it if you have that kind of way of looking at the country. Because they kind of say, if people are fighting each other, oh, you will see it. Oh, that
Naija, can I interject you?
Yeah, go ahead if you want to.
You see, we are saying this is just so sweet to say that you come, we change the oligarch like that. My brother, it's not the way you think it is. It's the way you are saying what you are saying now. You are saying we should continue with this same law. And with this same law, it is impossible, almost impossible to take off these people because they will continue to give birth to more and more. There's no way you can take them off. Thank you.
I think you underestimate your power. Then.
No, don't you say time with
Tunaja, can I ask you a question, please?
You not share now time with you now.
Just a question, please. Tunaja. Since the white people, the Westerners that we claim as superior, they are calm, they are innovative, they are progressing, but they are fighting and wiping out themselves in Russia and Ukraine. If this was to be happening in Africa, they will say we are black monkeys. Can we call them white monkeys now for killing themselves in Russia and Ukraine? Are they white monkeys? Because America is supplying weapons. China is doing their own secretly. So are they white monkeys there? Can you explain that to me? Thank you.
I think that personally, I think you could argue that it is barbaric what they are doing. They could decide to do something else, and it's part of the problem we have in Nigeria is what is manifesting there too. What Americans are doing is basically protecting their own interests. They are being tribal in the European context. The Anglo-Saxons, America, Canada, UK, New Zealand, and Australia, they want to ensure that Russia doesn't merge with Europe, because if they do that, their own power will be diluted. Technically, you can see that dynamics in Nigeria too, isn't it? Where one side wants to stop the other side from coming together so that they can keep control of the entire business. So that's what you see in Europe. Any area that exhibits these things, their fates are often reduced. The truth is that we don't want them to come together too. From that point of view, I'm on the side of America, because I said it before. If those areas strategically they came together, we are in bigger trouble.
I'm on the side of Russia.
I'm on the side of them quarreling among themselves until we develop. See, the more they are not on our side. So the more your enemies are arguing among themselves, or the people that are your rivals are arguing among themselves, is it not a good thing? It's a good thing. It's like when you are running a relay race, the opponents are falling on each other when they want to hand the baton over. Good for you. You run faster and go past them. That is what they are doing. Let them slow themselves down. That is good. They are playing, and they are doing it because they know they can afford it too. The moment we start to emerge, you will find out how quickly they will come together, or at least America will ease up on the Russians. So don't go too far with that. That's just one nation. They are doing their own European politics there. So for me, the same rule applies everywhere. If you use division and you let the dividers win, you are not going to grow. Your population is going to suffer for longer, and it's just a lose-lose. Really, it's just lose. And if you want to get rid of these leaders, yes, it's not going to be easy. But think about the other direction you wanted to go. It's even worse. It's even harder, and the outcome you can't necessarily predict it. That is why it's good to go the other direction. And this is what I see with the wisdom of what P2B is doing. And it's not only what P2B is doing, we have to forge other methods, other ways, because these people, they have people on the ground, they have alliances with different institutions, the military, the media, the legal system. That's how we should be doing it. There are groups on the ground right now doing these things in Nigeria. We should be forging alliances with them. Us that are in the diaspora, we have resources, we have a level of protection, we have a level of stability. We can work with them to start changing things on the ground in Nigeria. Those are the kind of things you want to do. Any other direction is going to cause more problem. Other countries have solved this problem. The diaspora was actually needed, and that's the thing. We in the diaspora, we seem to we don't recognize that we in the diasporas are often required to solve the problem in the country. After all, most of the so-called leaders we have, many of them were technically diasporans. They were, Tinubu was overseas, and most of all these our leaders were educated overseas. They spent a long time in overseas before they came back to Nigeria. The people that developed China, many of them were overseas too. North Korea, Singapore, all of them.
Yeah,
Taiwan,
Japan too.
yeah,
Japan, yeah.
they were all overseas. It is us that can help make the change on the ground there. So I would leave it at that. And like I said, divided house doesn't prosper. Unstable nations we don't prosper. What we need most is prosperity, development. Once we get those things, now we can have the luxury of worrying, because our enemies don't have a lot of power over us anymore. Once we have these things, we can now start sorting our issues out. If we want to have all kinds of different kind of government and different kind of arrangement, you'll be surprised. You'll be able to do it freely. The reason why we are not able to do it right now is because there are things overriding these interests. These our leaders, they don't have that freedom. They are all slaves to these people, because if they do anything else, they are afraid. I was having a conversation with a South African, and South Africans are able to say stuff that Nigerian leaders cannot say and get away with it. And it turns out that part of the reason why is because South Africa technically has European hostages in their country. You can't exactly do anything to a country where you have so many millions of Europeans, and you just go and destroy the country and cause problem for the economy, because Europeans are going to suffer too. Then you start seeing Europeans going to fetch water for miles, and Europeans doing all the kind of
You are,
nonsense,
you are a very funny person.
doing
They'll go
kabu
and fetch water
kabu.
from where?
Now they start doing kabu kabu. Yeah, they don't want that. They don't want the
What
Europeans
is
to see that kind of stuff.
Kabu Kabu? What is Kabu Kabu?
When you start riding the Okada, and they start riding Okada, so they don't want that to happen to South Africa. So that's why the South African leaders can say this is not get away with it. But if Nigerians did that, all kinds of hassle they will give us. They will threaten. Look at what they threatened Sudan last year, and look at where Sudan is today.
To
Go
Nigeria.
ahead. Yeah.
If I may just cut in, I've been listening to the discussion. I think you've summarized everything that our leaders are not able to do certain things because these our so-called enemies, like you used to call them, they have so many things on them. But now we have an opportunity to produce somebody that they most likely will not have anything on. But still, we were the same people, these same leaders, they jeopardized this opportunity. So how can you blame the West? I'm not trying to kind of attack you, but I just want you to expatiate. How do you blame the West? How do you expect the West to take responsibility for what just happened in the country? For example, we have a certain Peter Obi who we are sure is as clean as clean. Now, he had the opportunity of having that mandate to do whatever he can do without the West having anything on him. But how come? Is there any way the West contributed to the malfunctioning, the so-called malfunctioning of the beavers, the activities of the INEC chairman, the policemen, every? Can you explain how is the West implicated in that?
You can start from them treating Tinubu very, very well when he go into their country and grant him all those things. But that said, though, I get where you're coming from the point of view that we are ultimately responsible for our fate. Like
Exactly.
you are
Ultimately.
ultimately responsible for your house's protection. It doesn't mean that when that armed robber shows up, the armed robber is not also a factor. He came in to obstruct your progress in that house. So it's still a problem. You are a problem, but the armed robber is also a problem. You see what I mean? And you have to deal with one first, then before you deal with yourself, or you deal with yourself, you deal with the armed robber. Either way, both are problems. And so that's how it depends on how you want to look at it, which one you want to deal with first. And I say, if we fix ourselves, you can fix the arm robber problem. In other words, you can prevent people to come and start stealing our resources and ensuring that our nation never grows. Our problem is not necessarily because we are too corrupt or we are wicked and all the rest. It's just that all the money we work for, it ends up in their hands. If that be the money is ending up in Nigeria, what do you think is going to happen? We are going to use it to invest. We are going to use it to innovate. We are going to use it to do all kinds of things, and we'll get more money, and the more we prosper. But because most of the stuff is ending up in their country, and even us, like us now, speaking from here, I'm one of them, ending up in their country to work for them. So we are losing out every time. I can tell you right now, my own direct experience in Nigeria is that right now on the ground, Nigeria has less expertise on the ground than they had 5 years ago because many brains have left Nigeria already. They are serving them in the West here. And while our nation is getting poorer, our capacity to innovate and develop is getting less. And then they are introducing more division is being introduced in the country. And where did these leaders find protection from? Where did these leaders
Tuna,
have their power from? From the
yeah,
West.
Tunaja, let me just quickly respond to that. You see, no matter how you look at this, no matter how, the responsibility and the buck still falls on us. Now,
Yeah.
if you talk about that, our funds, even like you just said, it's not the looting that's the problem, but it's because this loot will eventually end up in the West. Can you, in all sincerity, say that it is the West that call our people on phone, steal your money and bring to our country? No. Even though if they encourage it, we must also we must accept that our leaders, they are not patriotic enough to do the right thing. Even if they steal this money and they reinvest in the economy, there's no way the West will come and force them that you must steal this money and bring to our country. No, the West cannot do that. Even if it comes to repatriation, when these funds are being repatriated, we still have a way of relooting everything. Look at the Abacha's loot that was returned. All of a sudden, Sadia, what's her name? Sadia, Buhari's girlfriend, said they were going to share the 5 million to the how much, $500 million to the poorest people in the country. And they shared under 2 weeks, they shared 5 billion naira to people,
Mm,
just people in the north and the north alone. Now, talking about brain drain, what is also responsible for that? You just said we have more expertise in the west now compared to what we have on ground. But what's responsible for that also? Is it not still the actions and inactions of our leaders? For example, you go to interview because you are from a certain part of the country, you are not given the same opportunity. You see nepotism in appointment. Look at NNPC, for example. They do interview. Look at CBN. They employ people every now and then. You must have to be the child of so so and so. The juicy positions, the juicy ministries, you will never get the children of common men entering such positions. And these people, they take the resources of the nation and they oppress the rest of the people. So what do you expect the experts to do? They will leave the
mm,
country because they know if they go outside of the country, they can make their money in dollars and have this thing converted to naira, and at least they can leverage on certain things. So how will you blame the expert? Because your country refuses, the leaders they refused to produce simple, clean,
mm.
pipe-borne water. They refuse to produce electricity. They refuse to give us good roads. And you don't expect people to live all their life. People want to contribute to
I
the
understand what you
development of the
mean. So that
country.
I think I get
Let me just round up.
this so that
People
I
want to
don't interrupt.
contribute to the development of the country, but they are not given the opportunity to do so.
Mm.
not
Yeah.
because they don't want to, because the leaders don't want them to. So these people
Mm.
have to leave eventually. They are forced out of the country. So even if we go to the north, to the west, to the east, we can take this argument to the moon and come back. The basic
Mm.
thing is that our leaders are ultimately culpable for everything that is going on, even if we have enemies in the West, which I accept. But without the input from our leaders, these guys they can never succeed. That is
I think you have a point there, because in the end, this is what I'm trying to let people know, that it's up to us on the in the country
exactly it's up to
to
us.
create the leaders that are not afraid of foreigners, and we too should be ready to face the consequences of us not wanting to listen to what they are doing. Remember, there are leaders that have lost their lives on the continent repeatedly because they defied the listening to foreigners, and part of the reason why they did that, why they lost, was because they never really paid enough attention to their security. I always say it all the time. Most of those
Naija,
leaders,
wait. Let me just cut in. If you want to still talk about these leaders, like Thomas Sankara, for example,
yeah,
how did they take out Thomas Sankara? He
his
was
own is,
ultimately
yeah,
betrayed by one
yeah,
of us.
yeah.
Muammar Gaddafi was ultimately betrayed by one of us. Blaise
Mm,
Compaoré betrayed Thomas Sankara. Muammar Gaddafi, we know who betrayed him. Even this other guy that Alex mentioned before, the guy from Congo that was flown to Belgium, was ultimately betrayed by
Patrice
one of
Lumumba,
us.
yeah.
Look at MKO. We are talking about how the CIA came to, after their visit and we lost MKO.
Mm.
Eventually, it was still our people. It was Abacha that placed him in jail. And the CIA couldn't have been able to do this without our input. Anyhow, you take this argument, there is always the
See,
input of the
it's see,
black man.
the point has been made, and I've already considered it, that we are responsible for it. However, when those leaders were losing their lives, I'm trying to give you the reasons why they keep losing their lives, and they didn't fix one critical aspect, which was security. I was on a panel with Al Mustafa when he said they went to Libya to go and learn how Gaddafi was able to survive the West. Because remember, Gaddafi did survive the West. They had literally had to bomb his country and catch him to do what they did to him. So, but in Nigeria, they don't have to. They just we just run over to them to report, Master, please don't do anything. So the point I'm making is that he went there. They went and learned how Gaddafi survived, but they learned the economics of how he survived. They didn't learn the military aspect of it. And I told him, why didn't you learn that? Because it's not only economics is the reason why he's surviving. It's clearly that he has security. That's why he was able to survive. So he said they didn't do that. So that tells you, and I told him, under your watch, you lost the head of state of the country, and you lost the one that won the presidential election under your watch, and you didn't see that. And he was there saying that that he did all he could do, and he was following orders. But in the end, you are the commander, the CSO, the chief security officer, and you lost all those people because you were focusing on the wrong things. You should have advised Abacha that these people needed security. How is it that Castro can survive? Libya, they literally had to bomb Libya out. Saddam Hussein, they literally had to bomb him to get to him. They couldn't assassinate him the way they assassinate African leaders. But yet, we,
All
when
those
black,
words, please.
sorry about that. Sorry about that. So we allowed them to just come in, and they just get us by just using one of our own together, because we are not paranoid in terms of security. We are not paranoid enough, and I think we really need to pay attention to how other people do it. Don't take my word for it. Just study them a little bit. Take a week, study how other people look at the Russians, look at the Chinese, look at the even Europeans. They don't play around. Here in the UK, if you apply for certain jobs, they will not give you the job. You have to clear security. You have to have security clearance. Even the simplest job, you have to have massive. They will do all kinds of checks on you. Even when you owe money, they will be like, I'm not sure. I'm not going to give you that job, just because you owe money. So they don't take their security for granted at all. So that's something that we have to take more seriously, because it's responsible for why our leaders fail repeatedly. So that is that on that front. All I'm saying is that we have to pay attention to some of all these things that is going on around us. And we in the diaspora specifically have to start organizing, finding a way to start changing stuff on the ground. There are many that are already doing stuff. And I am trying to come up with my own formulas and things that I can do too. So we should start thinking creatively, because all these other countries that fix their situation is the diaspora. It came from the diaspora. So we are having these conversations here right now, and we are also opportune to be aware of our capacity to change that country. We should do it. There's no reason why we cannot do it. If anybody is listening to me that that was thinking that it's all up to the people on the ground, then no, it's up to us too that are in the diaspora to come up with ideas to change stuff. Thank you.
Can I just add 1 minute for response to something,
Please,
Mr.
we have people waiting. Okay, go ahead. 1 minute, sir. Go ahead.
Hey, just 1 minute. I was just thinking that I understand to Nigeria's position that we shouldn't, instigate ourselves to destroying our nation. But where that argument falls short is that our nation is already being destroyed by our bad leaders. You understand? So, and we cannot blame the Europeans or the Western world for this. They didn't tell them to bring the money to their foreign accounts, and they
Exactly.
didn't tell them to say that their fellow Nigerians are inferior to them. They are born to rule, and the others don't have a say in who rules them. They didn't tell them all this I am superior than you ideology. It's just human greed, and it only occurs because they can get away with it. And until we figure out a way where they cannot get away with it, yes, people will start respecting us. That's why we're saying, okay, this constitution is not strong enough. Maybe we need a national restructuring. That's why we're saying, even with this constitution, at least comply with some rules. So stop this selective enrichment.
I left something out in my analysis. Let me explain this. I think I left something out in my analysis. See, when you give fish a part of water to travel through, that's the part they're going to take. They're not going to take any other part. What I'm trying to let you understand that there are things that affect our lives that is not necessarily within our control. And people that understand that operate at that level, they are creating the situation. I can do it. If I can envision it and I can make it happen, why can't anybody else make it happen, or the people that have even more resources than we do? So just because you are seeing all these things manifest and our leaders are doing all these things, maybe what is making them do those things have already been put in place already before they even got into office. They got there and they are dancing. They are thinking that they are going to outsmart the Europeans, and the Europeans outsmart them. One of the reasons why I say that you have to go through the people is because the people are harder to manipulate if you change them, because they are not that many. There are too many. Europeans cannot just go and start changing individual mind. But if you just say, oh, only a few people can do these things, they will just go, either they take them out, or they blackmail them, or they bribe them, or whatever they need to do to do your bidding.
Let me say
That
one more thing.
it's
To
not because
Nigeria,
they
let
are
me say one
wicked.
more
It's
thing.
not because they are wicked. It's because they have to do it to get the resources. How can they reject billions of dollars that is coming to them? They can't reject it. They
No,
have to
listen.
take it.
The problem is our own people. Have you guys ever? You remember when we were young, when that guy, Professor Ali Mazrou, did that documentary on the triple heritage? Did anybody ever watch those documentary where he analyzed our the whole of Africa? It's the idea we bring to government. We believe since Whiteman that he has killed a big elephant, and everybody's bringing their place to share the elephant. So we still don't have this idea that this elephant, we have to build it. We have to build our own nation. We have to make rule of law thing. We have to make everybody equal. We don't have those ideas here. We think, well, let's just go there, make money, and everything will be fine. Build great mansion, but there's no road that leads to the moon. These are our problems. These are not foreign people's problems. They've been gone since. Influence on some things we do. But we are ultimately our leaders, and we have to hold them accountable, responsible. Look at what we are doing now. America, education. Nigerians make almost 70% of American education. The same thing with the health system. These are manpower we are losing because we have failed to make our own country conducive to develop our human capacity. So Nigeria educated me, gave me my bachelor. America used me for 30 years. How is that beneficial to the country?
Okay, are you ready to do what it takes then? Are you ready to do what it takes to make Nigeria
Yes,
great?
we are. That's why I'm on this
Okay.
forum. That's why we're doing what we. That's why I've lost 2 years. Let me tell you my
So
history. I lost 2 years. Even back then, those who are strong activists now, they will, oh no, let us graduate. Can't let them close school. We will close the school down until we do what we want. We were minded. We were fighting. But some people didn't share there. Some of the rich children among us didn't share there. They just want to graduate.
okay,
And
let me ask you this straight question then. What are you willing to go through and put Nigerians through? Because when you start trying to make Nigeria proper, that's to function properly, you're going to have problems. People are not going to like it. International bodies are not going to like it. So what are you going to do? I'm asking you now a straight question. What are you willing to put Nigeria through to do that?
The problem has gotten so like Rocco tree. First is education. That's why every day I thank this man, Mr. Elvis, for his platform, and all the other bloggers, including all the other bloggers that people consider as illiterate. That's why I can't people like Abati.
I think you are going all over the place. I'm asking you a straight question. I'm asking you a straight question. You are trying to stunt the discussion because you're not answering a straight question.
Tunaja, hold on.
He just wants to waffle and talk about what we talk about every day.
I'm on the road. I'm still connected to this. You think I just want people to know me? No. The value of education, the value of information. If we keep talking, if people hear us, people are hearing us, we will be changing minds. I never knew of Nigeria before, but in my process of search, I found. So we start making connective collections. We need to come on the platform and give any misinformation. We have it. If any propaganda agent comes out, so that we have and we keep spreading it. That's my only piece. This is costing me time. It's costing me from work. I'm on the road. I'm tuning. I'm at home. I'm tuning. In fact, my wife is thinking that I'm going crazy. But this is the little I can do.
So
I'm not
give us your solution
I'm
then.
making money. I'm doing.
Bro Salaba, hold on. Tunaja, hold on. Let me answer your question. You see, the Nigeria situation as it is now, the first thing foremost we got to do is one, educating the people. In educating the people, you are changing their mindset. You need to change the mind and the belief of a people before you start, gradually bringing about the kind of system you want. Because a man with the mindset of taking power and sharing the money, it is very difficult to change. That's why we are starting now. And most of us that have lost 2 years in our institution, and you say we have not, because we are still here trying to change the mindset. I think a lot of the diasporans have really lost a lot in Nigeria before they transited to this where they are now. That is why they are still consistent. They are coming back to do the needful first in educating the people, passing good information so that you begin to reorientate them so that when you go there to put up a business, they will not have that mindset of taking what is making them, is going to make them taking out of it and not contribute to that business to build a nation. That is the first thing. And what we are doing now is the first thing before you go in there and start investing. The political will must be there. We must have a stable political terrain. We must have the rule of law. We must have a good system that will hold people accountable, because the present system we have now is zero. We just got to orient them, force them, if inevitable, force them and make the government change. We bring in a new government that will listen to us so that the system can gradually change and people will be held accountable. That is how you go into the system. Any other way, contributing money, it has no effect. You have to change the mindset of a man before you can go into his heart. Simple.
Well,
I
good,
think he
Black
has
Panther.
some solution at least. I was trying to get the solution from
Good.
the one that is criticizing stuff. So
To,
see,
to
in
Niger,
the
let me add to this.
okay, go ahead.
Black Panther, you have a great idea, but I think we have to start that educating from the Nigerian National Assembly. We have to educate them to tell them what their job description is. They are lawmakers. For instance, all these electoral problems, they don't even have any kind of good penalty for any of the offenses. So they commit it and they get away with it. We have to educate them on that job of being lawmakers. They should take it seriously. And then they have to, uh, I guess the whole country has to respect this whole idea of tripod. The executive should be the executive, the legislative should be the legislative, and the judiciary shall have no dependence on the executive. Look at the tyrant that we now have. Baba Ahmed said it to the Chief Justice. If you swear in this man, you are swearing in the military, and you have definitely annulled Nigerian democracy. Guess what? He's now sounding like a dictator. What in the world is the meaning of that won't be tolerated no longer? Is he Abacha? But we just look at it because we are coming out from the military dictatorship era. Such language doesn't sound too terrible, but that is definitely a dictator. Nigeria is not the mob, and he is not the godfather. This is something serious. But I think that the whole thing is that we are building a 100-story building on a 2-story building foundation. So we need to do some
Yeah,
serious adjustment to that foundation.
yeah.
And
Just to conclude, add to that, there's nothing in the world that is more dangerous than sincere ignorance and conscientious stupidity. You see, I have people in my family who believe in Tinubu. I have people that are very close to me, same blood. Who you understand? When we talk, I just see the ignorance. I see it, and I'm saying, oh my God, there's a lot of people like that, and I have people who I went to school with. 2 hours. One guy, I drove from work. 2 hours. Educated guy with PhD defending Agbado. I'm telling you, information is vital. Not just any information, the right information. Counter the propagandists. You
See,
understand? If we
it's
can
not.
counter them with the bad
It's not.
information, then we will win souls. And with souls, we would win. We will win the people. That's what Stephen Biko did. That's why he started Black Consciousness, so that it can win minds. Because the system is fighting has already recruited a child that is yet unborn.
Anyway, when you see educated people defending Tinubu, it's either due to tribalism or maybe they were paid. They
Yeah,
know
that's
what
their
to
hook.
do.
Everybody has a hook. Money,
Yeah,
tribalism,
yeah.
religion. Everybody has a hook.
Exactly. So it's all those things. They
All
know
right,
what to
Mr.
do.
Mr.
Thank you.
Alaba, please just pause for now. Let's hear
Okay,
from
yeah, let me keep
Mr.
quiet.
CM. Thank you, sir.
So,
Oga
so
CM, bye.
yeah, it's because of it is either mainly tribalism or they were giving money. Like some people will go from one platform to the other to be spreading rumor. Imagine somebody. I remember debating somebody said Agbado is a strategist. He do this. He's been all his life. He strategizes. But you went and paid INEC to switch off a beavers. Is that strategy? Show your certificate. Is that strategy?
It's
Eh?
just like somebody coming here the other day to say Agbado is smart. Eh?
Yeah.
Can you
So
imagine?
you see, there are basic things. We know Agbado, you can turn Nigeria to Dubai. I agree. What certificate did you show to Chicago State University before they gave you admission? Tell us. Is that strategy? What does that mean? So when people say this type of thing, I look at them and laugh. I think somebody was saying that the real problem of Nigeria is not really the masses, because the masses are willing to follow. But those that purport to lead them, they are just the people misleading the people. That's why I come back to what I used to say. If P2B enters, he's gonna, because when you see a man who is not interested in stealing, his own will just be to open up the thing so that the Nigerian, an average Nigerian, will understand what is going on in government. I read a quotation here while we are talking, so I just went on Facebook. I don't know how true it is. You know, there's now a new ministry for humanitarian affairs. It was created by this last government. I didn't know they had it. It's called Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Emergency Management and Social Development. One lady called Sadia, maybe Sadia Omar from Zamfara State, is the minister. But that is not the issue. The issue is that, according to a quotation, they said, Emefiele said, he, as the governor of Central Bank,
Please, Mr.
releases,
Alaba, off your camera, please. What you are
he
showing
said,
to us, we don't really need it. Thank you.
he said, he said, uh, he said, Emefiele, according to the quotation, maybe in the days and weeks ahead, it will become clearer. I don't know, because sometimes when I see something on social media, I don't usually believe it. I will keep it to my mind and be watching whether 2 3 days is still in the news. Otherwise, if it fades away, I know it's not. So he's saying that Emefiele said he releases 500 billion naira every month on Buhari's order to Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs so that they can use it to fight poverty. You see it? 500 billion
And they
every
have
month.
IDC camps for
Uh,
Nigerians.
so you now ask yourself, does the ministry not have its own budget, or this is just another handout? 500 billion every month, you release it to the ministry, so the minister knows about it. Why Emefiele may be saying this is that the man will now sing. He will expose a lot of things, although so many people will be, people in this type of situation, some may say it's a lie, but then let it be out there. So this government that left, they lost almost our chance of the decade. A lot of money was mismanaged. You don't know what is being used for. How can a ministry be receiving 500 billion, not million, 500 billion every month, a ministry, to fight poverty? Yet poverty is escalating every day. So there are a lot of things going on. That's why I pray. I know that there is no permutation we can bring in that is not feasible, but at the same time, it's not workable because it's in Nigeria. What works abroad or in other African countries may not work in Nigeria because of either due to religion or tribalism or a combination of both, or just sheer intimidation. But I know with the coming of P2B, that's why when people are talking of unity in Nigeria, Nigeria have shown unity. 30 years ago, they showed it under MKO. 30 years later, they are showing it. They showed it in a different form. So what else do the people want? How else do we contribute? Must we carry gun? No. Nobody. It's no longer. It's out of fashion. Russia and China are fighting. I mean, Russia and the Ukraine are fighting. They will still come back to round table to discuss and settle it finally. So all these things, they are wasting human lives and resources and destroying their environment. It will count for nothing. So in our own case, I know I do not advocate for the use of force, but that democratic way of changing, we've done it. So why should people deny us of that? That is the issue. What else do you want the Nigerian people to do? They want a change, and they've shown it. They've seen something. So it's not that Nigeria, to me, Nigeria is easy to govern. It's not complex. Only if you use the truth and show some imagination. There is nothing wrong. Nigeria is not different from any other African country or any other country in the world, so to speak. But the thing is, the people that is there, okay, when Tinubu is saying this type of thing, and up till now nobody is challenging him, he said they cannot be tolerated. The issue, who is executive to challenge the judiciary? Or who is the judiciary to challenge the legislature? That is the meaning of democracy. They are independent. They have a role. You do not interfere. I was listening to one interview by Ango Abdullahi. What he's saying is that he's saying it is in the interest of the executive not to interfere in the affairs of the legislature as per who they are going to bring in for speaker and the senate president and the other these things. Yes, that's fair. You shouldn't do that. But in our own case, I don't know why this type of thing is happening. And from the way things are going, if P2B, these people decide to behave like Tinubu and go and confirm that nonsense they did, I don't know. I can't guarantee you that Nigeria will be together. To be honest, not that I'm wishing it, because people are not. What else do you want? How do people change their situation? They are very poor. They gave in old note. They can't get a new note. Yet they voted. There is no petrol. Now the subsidy is gone. They are suffering. And they felt that there's a man from among us who will change the situation. And they voted. And somebody will now say it won't work. You've pushed people to the wall. What else do you want them to do? What else? Why did you invite people? Why organize the election and tell people to come and vote? Only for them to vote, then their vote won't count. You decide to select and give them what you want as INEC, not what they voted for. So this is what people should be thinking of. That is where really I'm heading. I know all the permutation we are doing, what we need to do. Yes, common sense says that that is what we need to. We know it. Even the one we did is the best option. Using democratic way to exercise our franchise. That is the way to change government seamlessly. That is what is expected. No quarreling, no noise. Just pick your leader, vote for him. Given the all things being equal, the electoral body will declare the winner free and fair. Then life continues. What if they had announced P2B since March? By now, we would not be talking about the election. What we'll be talking about is first 100 days, first 2 months, first 1 month of P2B. What are the policy statements? Which direction is he leading us? Yet we are still talking about election. So I don't know. Nigeria, we've done what is humanly possible. Nobody can tell me I'm in the diaspora. Yes, I agree. But we use Nigeria Watch platform to mobilize our people and they listen to us. We gave money for transport. Get your PVC or else you won't see anything from us again. People obeyed. They came out in their thousands. They overwhelmed the INEC office. Some sleep there. Every day they go there. So when you put all this effort in the hope that your vote will count and somebody decide to mess it up, are you going to fold your hand? There's alternative to life. It's either you live or you die. So I don't know the way. So either you live or you are no more. So when this type of thing is happening, you can't really blame people. We did everything. This is the election that has the election that has the greatest consequence in Nigerian history. We did everything humanly possible. So what else do they want us to do? Those countries we are citing, this is what they did. In fact, there is no other way to do it than what we did. There is no other way. I can't fault anybody. People voted according to their conscience. They know their leader. Then somebody sit down somewhere. Do you know that in civilized countries, in a civilized environment, that Mahmoud Ainek must explain why the beavers was switched off. He's a criminal. That Professor Mahmoud, why should they switch off beavers? Because you want to do manual counting and inflate figures. Why? So that tells you where the thing is. Ordinarily, if I'm in the court should ask him, why was the beaver switched off? Let him tell the people world why. But anyway, all hope is not lost. Since P2B is approaching it, let us hope, if not
Thank you.
tomorrow, next. By the time they give the judgment, all this will change. Probably the man in Aso is getting the feeling that his days there may be in the next field is now numbered. That's why he's issuing threat, which is unnecessary, uncalled for. He can't bully people now, bully the judge until he can't be tolerated. Who is he? Nobody nobody is bigger than the law. Nobody. If Trump, some of you in US, thank God, yeah, Black Panther, you are in US. Look at what is happening to Trump, and this is almost at exactly when Obi is going through the court. Trump now we have to appear. I think he's saying Miami court tomorrow. I think for criminal charges. A whole US president. Do you know what it means? So Tinubu should be anyway. Well,
If the
better
court go finally now 20 years they see you.
you see now a president and a billionaire. Is yet Trump is a billionaire, I suppose. Yes. Yet look at America doesn't care. The most powerful man in the world at one time when he was president.
So do you think Trump will be sentenced to prison?
And that is what I
Let,
don't
let,
know.
let me answer that question.
Okay.
You see, the guy that is in charge of this prosecution, that guy comes out once in a while. If he comes out, he hit the target. He doesn't look back. He doesn't care who is being prosecuted. He bring it anytime that guy hold you to ransom and bring your case to the court. Know that there's going to be a judgment and you are going to go to jail. So everybody is skeptical. That's why they are fighting through
Black
every news,
Panther.
through the press.
Black Panther, from what you gathered, do you think there's a watertight case against Trump?
Oh yes. Oh
Oh, it's too
yes.
watertight. It's too watertight.
Oh yes.
It's too watertight. They even have a voice conversation where he told them that tell them that you don't have the stuff.
No.
Just tell them you don't have it. It's there now. Voice conversation. They brought it through his phone. He didn't know that they
Please
tap
be
everywhere.
careful with your word, Black Panther, please.
Okay. So there is a lot of evidence, video, everything is there. So 37 counts, and those 37 counts, all of them they enter. Now giddy bomb. So
They go prison, my brother. Forget that thing.
here they go. You know
It's
they
not
call
possible.
espionage
Okay.
case.
Okay. Black Panther. I know why Niger Watch is saying what he's saying. Probably there's an option for suspended sentence. Don't they do it? Mean which he may say do community service.
Look at what they are going to do. He's going to like what his lawyer. They keep him in house, whatever. That's what they did to him. So he's served in his house, a confined house. That's what they're going to do. That's the low high years they will give to him.
For how long?
That one served, they both day and night. I think it's 2 years plus.
So which means 2024 he won't contest.
That one be their target. Now that one be the target now. You don't know
Hey,
before.
wow. Donald Trump. Anyway, you see what it shows that nobody is above the law. Nobody is above the law. The only way Nigeria can attain that opportunity, this type of something, is if somebody like P2B enters, then we will start a lot of places. In fact, the confidence, probably the judiciary will reform itself if somebody like P2B is president, because he wouldn't like to interfere with them. He can only know that do your job so that he won't be under any pressure. He's not going to pressurize anybody, because the guy just wants to come and perform and see how we are going to get people out of poverty. That's just what he's interested in. Get
Is
people out of.
Nigeria's presidency, is it not executive or is it supreme? Is it supreme presidency or
No,
executive?
no, it's executive now.
So why are we dealing with this presidency as if it is supreme?
No,
And why is it that
it's because of what Tinubu said. Didn't you hear?
I heard it,
Didn't?
and that is
Mhm,
why I'm saying this man is a dictator already.
mhm. That's why
Daddy Ahmed warned us that if we swear him in, we're swearing in the army. And the chief justice that went to swear him in, did the chief justice not know that he did not win 25% of Abuja? What kind of ignorance is that? And if he's going there to bless it with his presence, is he trying to say that that constitution is no law? I mean, there are so many things.
You
I
know,
wish Ganifa Emi is still alive because I bet you he will be calling some of them and filing lawsuits against them. Like that Chief Justice, he should know better than go and glorify an occasion with his office that he knows is definitely not qualified. He should know.
that's why sometimes when they say judges will interpret the law, I said it's written in English language, very simple. 25% of FCT, what are they going to take? What law again are they going to interpret there? Everybody know. If you can read and write,
Yeah, there
you
was a
understand.
precedent with Obasanjo's case that time where they were arguing that it should be winning the FCT. And the Supreme Court then said, no, it's not winning. It's winning 25%.
Yeah, yes.
And then another one came up again, I think in 2008. So the point is that the Supreme Court has interpreted it two times already, both times in favor of Abuja
20,
25%.
25%.
I don't know what kind of justification this Chief Justice gave to it that gave him the courage to go and embrace an occasion that he knows is illegal. And he carried the office of the Chief Justice of the Federation right there. And we are not even bothered about that. It's like we have given up in so
No, no,
many areas.
no. Nigerians are bothered. That's why the fact that they are keeping sort of patient with P2B and then following the what is going on in the tribunal. That means they've not given up. It's only that they are waiting. These people, when this thing happened, in fact, to be honest with you, I blame the judiciary more. There are certain, you don't allow people to rubbish your reputation, no matter how much you are giving. Look at Mahmoud, the whole professor. How can you do this? How can you do this?
It's like
Hmm?
in the US here, we have electoral college. In Nigeria, you have only one person, Mahmoud. He's the electoral college. He decides. He does everything. That's nonsense. How in the world he came to, I don't even know what kind of money will somebody offer you that will make you sell out your fatherland. I don't even, sometimes I question what is it with these people? Have you seen anybody that died and on the day of his burial, they will go to his bank and withdraw his money and come and dump it in the grave with him? So why are we looking at this thing as if that is all?
Most Nigerians do not read now. They don't know the story of Alexander the Great. If only they do, they find out they should know that this world is vanity. You can't be soft. Anyway, well, I don't really do much of a blame because I know that the people of Nigeria, they are united. They know what they want and they will get it. So I don't have to. The blame can never go to the voters. They did the right thing. They did what they have to do. So it's only that the powers that be are denying them, but they will get it back. That's all I could say for now.
And we should be conscious too,
All
because
right,
that criminal we have in Asarat is aware of this. So he is going to,
let's
and you
do.
know, he has a crooked mind. So he always comes up with the most crooked things. But the big problem I think he's going to have is that his godfatherism attitude is still in him. And that is what he will do one more time, and he will push Nigerians overboard. And everybody will say, forget it,
And
forget it, forget it.
anyway, it's 3 a.m. I
All
want
right,
to go now. Thank
let's
you.
do 2 minutes to round up, please.
Okay.
2 minutes to round up the broadcast. Let me see who is available. I'd like to go to Mama H. Oh, I'm not sure she's still available though. All right, Mr. Chris, are you still there with us? Okay, Mr. Chris, don't speak. All right, let me come to Felix, Oga Felix, are you still there?
Did you guys call me?
Who's talking? No, no, no,
Alaba Pereira.
no.
I
I
did
have not
talk.
called you.
Oh, I'm
Okay,
talking.
okay, okay.
Who is talking?
Chris.
Oh, Mr. Chris, you just coming in now. Okay, go ahead. Talk to us.
Yeah. I
Final,
mean,
final submission, please.
yeah, I was
Mr.
talking. I didn't know that my mic was was not unmuted. So, well, for me, I think the summary of it all, the Trump issue that you guys are discussing about, I just think what they want to
Three
do with
minutes, sir.
him.
3 minutes.
Okay, I just think what they want to do with him is not really about to send him to jail, but just to make sure that he's not able to contest in the next election. Because I have a strong feeling that if he contests, he might likely win. But that's just it. Well, in summary, the back and forth between two Nigeria and I would just conclude by saying that ultimately, no matter how we look at it, no matter from any angle, we have ourselves to blame. No matter how we look at it. Now, if you say we are not nationalistic enough, if you look at the story of Cuba, you see, Cuba, the US was against them in every way, but inside the country, a lot of them were cohesive with the government because, to a very large extent, they all felt carried along, although some of them were persecuted and they ran away to Florida and other parts of the US. But a lot of them showed nationalistic view because the government was, no matter how you look at it, if it Castro, he tried to carry everybody, he didn't discriminate, although there were still some very dictatorial approach to life in Cuba. But all in all, they gave the people good education, you know. So the people were able to queue up to the national question, and that's what is we are missing in our society. And not until we give everybody the equal sense of responsibility, people are not just going to start loving their country. They've tried and they are all giving hope, just like me, just like many of us, but we still try to do what we can do by coming to a platform like this to come and contribute what we can contribute. Now, if I just want to summarize with one example, just look at during the pandemic. Now, the West, they contributed so many things to poor countries. Now, in the West, they were delivering food. In Ireland, the government was delivering food to people's home in bags and cartons. But what did we do in Africa, in Nigeria, and many places? You have big men hiding away palliatives meant for the common people. Were they responsible for that? Of course, no. It is our wickedness against ourselves. How can you tell me big men, governors that are already comfortable, they were hiding things, basic things like noodles and all forms of palliative, they were hiding them, shading them from their own people, whereas the West was trying to make their own people comfortable. So just that analogy alone will make us realize that we have to take this responsibility. We must take up responsibility ourselves. We should stop blaming the West. This is not to exonerate them. The whole world is a global competition. Even the West are competing against each other. They are all competing, just like they are competing against Africa. So if we lose guard and we allow things to just go the way we want them to go, if we refuse to focus on the national question, we don't expect the West to come and save us. They will just take advantage of whatever loophole we create. And we have created so many loopholes. I know two Nigerians will be talking about security. Like I've told you several times, what can you say about your president that
All
goes
right.
abroad? Half of your leaders, okay, I'll just round up. Half of your leaders, they go abroad to take treatment overseas. That's security breach in any way you look at it. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you, Oga Chris. God bless you. Madam Lena, we can see you right there in the comment section. Thank you very much for the encouragement. God bless you. Okay, Oga Felix, if you never sleep, I beg, give us final submission.
My brother, I never sleep. I want to ask one question. Mr. Elvis, you not nightmare, we know the sleep. I don't sleep, wake up, can't see Jamuna here again.
We
Wow.
did.
Oga is the track.
After all this great sacrifice, they'll come tell us for cost.
My,
They
my
go
people, I
collect.
want leave on now. Una good now.
Okay.
My
Thank,
for see you
thank,
now tomorrow. Thank you,
thank you,
everybody.
Oga Felix. Thank you very much. And Oga CM, you're leaving now. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank
You
you.
know, thank you, sir. Thanks for joining us. We are even rounding up now. So go ahead,
I'm
Felix.
also leaving, so I'm trying
Nice.
to take my leave now.
Okay. Do you want to do your 2 minutes, or you just want to go?
I want to do my 2 minutes so that I can jack back.
All right. Okay. Oga Felix, round up so that you can do his 2 minutes. Oga Felix, can you hear me? Okay. I can't hear you anymore. Mr. Blampata, go ahead. Give me your 2 minutes.
Yes, my 2 minutes is like this. I think we have spoken well. We have come from different channel, and but we are arriving at a point where at the point whereby we all know that we need a new system, and that is the thing we should hold intact, because the possibility of Nigeria being a country depends on the system we adopt. Because currently, one of the speakers said Nigeria is putting 3 story on the foundation of 2 story.
Exactly.
So we have to find a way of bringing out, dusting out, because to convey a conference, it requires billions of dollars. So we will not want to go through that because we have already gone through it. I want us to really enact and a going forward of really bringing out that constitutional conference that everyone attested to and agreed upon. And from there, I believe from there we can build a viral nation. Without that, your defense, your politics, your education, your security, all is just forecasting. But you are forecasting on the wrong foundation. It will not go anywhere. We'll still come back to a round table like this, where you see a man will say, I'm the president, but he didn't get 25% of what do you call that place, Abuja. He didn't get 25% and didn't get to third of 24 states. So I beg every one of us to have that in mind, that we need to bring out that constitutional conference. We need to talk more on that so that you get in, talk more on it, and our PO court case. That's so that the thing we need to pressure on, because we need it to forge ahead. Until we keep on saying it with our PO winning, man, if we come in and people start bringing different kind of ideas to continue with this same system, we PO leave the same system, he goes out, and one other person come in, they will go back 3 steps the way Buhari took us 100 steps backward. So we need a system that will work, and a vacuum, no longer a vacuum will be left when the president is not elected. So we need that system that will not create a vacuum. That is what we need. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, my brother. Okay. Let me go for Mr. Engineer Francis. Please, sir, give us your 3 minutes.
Well, I believe everything has been addressed. The only thing I will suggest also is this: let's consider, with or without PO, we are going to split this thing down to the micro level now. Every area will handle their House of Reps and their senators, and tell them what you want them to achieve out there in Abuja. Not just to go that you're a senator and we will be worshiping you, but we will tell you when you get there, make sure that you file a bill that will persecute anybody that rigs election the way this one is done. When you get there, make sure that you do this. Make sure that at least write down what you, the constituents, what you require of him. Let's all split it into all the micro units in Nigeria. So when they get to Abuja, let me see how the executive will influence them so much that they will forget the place where they came from. As a matter of fact, that will now start separating the boys from the men, those who will be re-elected and those who will be rejected. So we have to just start thinking comprehensively. The house needs to be overhauled because we don't have really three branches of government. I thought the reason for having the three branches is that it will serve as a check and balances on the other ones. Here, the judiciary is in the pocket of the executive. In fact, their budget comes from the executive, which is nonsense. That means they are loyal to the executive. They are no longer, they don't have that power to balance anything or check anything from the executive. So I think we really need to address all these lapses in the so-called constitution and separate the powers very well so that when it's like saying the executive, like here, Donald Trump wants to encroach on the authority of the legislative. You will see, even under Donald Trump, Mitch McConnell will tell him, hey, do your thing in the White House, don't come here. So, I don't know. Here, he is even telling them who will be their Senate president and who will be the Speaker of the House. And then he's now indirectly firing warnings to the legislative, the judicial, how they will rule or how they will do what. In fact, I was so angry when I read those words, won't be tolerated any longer. What does he think he is? A batter? Tolerated? Like it's I guess he's blessed because we're all coming out from the heels of the military. So we've heard such words before to the extent that we now don't pay too much attention to it. But if it were to be in the US, they'll tell you, who in the world do you think you are giving us that order? And that's the judiciary. That is supposed to be one of the branches that will balance and check on him. He's now ordering them. Well, let me see if they will capitulate to that. If the judiciary will say, oh, yes, Master Supreme Master, oh, yes, we are not going to. Or whether they will do like that wreck in Abia State that said, no, I'm not going to take this bribe. I will call it the way it is. Let there be one hero in that area, too. Throughout all that election, it was that lady. I still think that lady should be, well, of course, Peter is not there yet, but I think she should be the
Okay.
next
Thank you, sir.
next chairman.
Thank you.
All right.
God bless you, sir. I really appreciate your time with us today. Thank you. Mr. Alaba, please give us your 20 minutes.
Yeah. So thank you guys. Thank for the panel. Very intelligent conversation. I thank everybody. You're very good. Number one, I just want to add that people like that. Speaker of Lagos State House. It's not even from Lagos. 95% of the people ruling Lagos are not the real Omeko like some of us. They're just from other parts of the Yoruba land like Ogun, Ondo, and all this. So they are the ones even encroaching into Lagos. They're not real Lagos indigenes. That's why they keep using the word Yoruba, Yoruba. They need to go sit themselves down with their tribal bygones. Number two, is that this court, I pray that they start releasing the results by state so that doubting Thomases would know that Obi really won. With all the evidences brought in, let them start putting it together and start putting the numbers out there. With like BBC did with Rivers. So this court start putting out the numbers, and then it will give us more momentum, and we can keep all these crazy doubting Thomases quiet. And give us the numbers state by state, so we know what you've submitted, what's in the IREV, what's in the document submitted. Number three, and the last one is that I want to end with a very optimistic note. I believe that the weight of evidence we have will rule in our favor, and Nigeria will begin to have a U-turn, will begin to have a change. As for Agbado, who is sending signals that once, those who make peaceful change impossible will make a violence one inevitable. So we will bundle him out. We will bundle him out. There's this weight of evidence. They can't deny it. So I'm optimistic. I want to share my optimism with people so we don't feel downcast. Particularly on a day they call Democracy Day, which is not real democracy. And we can begin to start our journey towards democracy with Peter Obi. That's what my submission. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you all.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Elaba. God bless every one of you.
Najawad,
Yes, sir.
I want to shoot you an email. Email right now. Where do I send it?
You want to send me an email, right?
Or a text? Yeah, just an email. A web address.
Okay, let me put this on the screen. Our email address is just although it's scrolling underneath there.
Okay.
But let me just make it bold. A moment. Make it bold for you now. Let me do this sharply. Okay, here you go. Let me use here. Okay. So that's it on the screen.
Okay. All right.
That's our email, and in case our WhatsApp number as well. Do you have our WhatsApp number before?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So I'll put back the email there. So that's our email there.
I'll send it right now. Within 5 minutes, it should be there.
Okay. God bless you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, my people. We have come to the end of this broadcast. We've been on air since for the past 9 hours. I'm talking about just this evening. If we have to talk about it since what we'll be doing this morning, it's just that we've been on live all day. Yeah. Thank you. I just hope by God's grace we have a better Nigeria. All this effort will not be in vain in Jesus' name. Thank you very much, my people. Continue to press on the like and share. Continue to encourage us. Always share our videos. May God bless every one of you. Now we'll join the curtain. Good night. Good night. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you very much, sir. God bless you. All right. Bye for now, my people.